this point. We'll see if that trend continues as we enter the latter stages of this particular tournament. But the stage is set and we'll jump into it. Round number 1, top floor we go. To reiterate, FaZe kicking it off on defense. And in terms of those operators and the most recent patch that we're on, Malusi already entering the fray. We've seen quite a bit of Malusi at this tournament so far, for those unaware, getting that secondary shotgun heading into the last week or so, and an additional Banshee as well.
Top floor command server to begin. FaZe on defense, and as I was speaking before, I think, speaking candidly on it, for FaZe, 5 rounds might be the required mark on defense. Labs 4 rounds certainly minimum. You can't not be walking away, giving up 3 attacking rounds to BDS. We'll see what they bring to begin early. They do go double hard breach. I imagine they're going to look to try and open up IT, go for a bit of a direct hit, although we have seen teams go for a more backwards push when it does come to command server. Handy just loitering towards blue at the moment, looking to deny any kind of maybe swift entry. As Fak is going to make sure he gets droned out on the mute.
Yeah, Flores has a pretty key role in helping clear some of this utility scattered around, such as those Banshees. If you don't know, elect to shoot at them. And especially at this sort of level of play, teams will ensure that they place those Banshees in positions where it's very difficult for them to clear without entering a crossfire. Double hard breach means that opening up said walls isn't going to be too much of a challenge here for BDS. A lot of the groundwork here should be relatively stable for them. It is going to be the last phase of the round that really dictates how things play out, barring some kind of spanner being thrown into the works. From FaZe, they'll be the initiators if they are to aggress through the mid-round here. Although for now, they're rather content with allowing these lines of sights and entry points to be opened up. And they'll instead fortify on site.
Yeah, certainly command server, one of those sort of sites that can have a little bit more of a slow going pace to begin with, get through the checklist, open up the main breaches. There he is, Handy. Just loitering towards blue. Not a lot of presence has been shown from BDS in towards that direction. Solotov trying to just see if he can find some angles. Selma out, but that's going to get jammed off anyway. And KDS will deal with that one with the impact. 60 seconds, still no contact. Haven't really heard any shots, although it is going to be the opening kill to go the way for BDS. Cyber will fall, and that does open up this defense. Good start for BDS.
5 versus 4. It's the position you want to find yourself in. Vidaking with the lineup outside onto Shaiko. But Shaiko already ready and waiting. Should shoot that out. It does. Souls responds though, so look effect falls. 4 versus 4. 8 members up. 40 seconds then on the clock as BDS look to formulate this final push.
Quan Hive Launcher just being utilized as well, trying to get some information. Not a lot of time left in this round. 1-for-1 trades again continue out. No one able to get an advantage in this opening round of this series. Kit in hand. 20 seconds. A chance for BDS if they can get the next kill, open up the site, and they do that through users. KDS will fall. Low health for Vidaking. The response needs to be swift, and it is, but he loses his life. Handy now in a 1 versus 1 after dealing with both users and Solotov. Kit going down. Nitrocell thrown out. Does it land? Indeed, it does, and Handy opens it up with a bang.
Nice from Handy. Very, very clean. Finds the multi. Had that Nitro in pocket and timed it to perfection. Held down the line, so made it difficult to run away from it in the end anyway, showing the volatility of that pillar position. Clean work overall there from FaZe, keeping the round even throughout the mid-round, and then tidy in the end. Good opening pick from Liquefact. Able to disrupt that threat of the Nitro down below from the Valk, but FaZe able to still make it work. And they're a team with really strong problem-solving skills. There is that replay of Handy, able to march forward. Perfectly lands the Nitro as well.
Good start for FaZe. They did lose at the opening player as well. Thought defensively could look a bit suspect towards the end of that round. BDS, I thought, were able to get through the checklist pretty nicely, open up a lot of the breaches. Got some decent kills, made entry into sight. Eventually almost got the plant down. A little bit unsuccessful. Decent chance for BDS, does go begging. Good job for FaZe. I think that's the kind of round as well, where as a collective team, as 5, they probably felt like they could have played that one maybe a little bit better. Ultimately Handy with a 3K. A handy 3K indeed. They do drop a floor now. We do actually see maybe a bit of a roam game being employed. Vigil being brought out. Got the Legion too with KDS. Amos in response from Shaiko. Along with the Blitz and the Lion. So maybe fast pace for BDS could be the case in this second round.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued to see how Brede is going to employ the Mav on this particular setup. perhaps to help open up walls above or line of sight.
Not often we
into
see
the
storage
garage.
for the second round.
No, storage, bit of an unorthodox selection, but it is a site that has become increasingly more favorable. Probably, most certainly at this point, edging out kitchen, for instance. But here is that Mav being employed, exterior wall up above on that terrace position. Elsewhere, Solotov probing top blue, and this is just a good amount of perceived pressure, at least, for now. Sol's, though, still able to collect the first, and it is the danger man of Shaiko. Limited impact in the match so far for him, and Solotov now looking to activate and find something back. But it is BDS to even out the man count.
Yeah, big kill from BDS. A couple more shots just flowing outside of storage. So quite a different start for this second round compared to the opening one. More shots ringing around the map. 3 HP for Liquefact, not ideal on the line. That's going to be the final E1D that has been deployed. Vidiking will finish him off.
Bomb located.
Advantage for FaZe, approaching the 90-second mark. And the creep push now from BDS not quite playing out the way that would have liked. Losing all of these battles. And users had no idea that KDS was that close. And right now, for the Blitz, for the Maverick, it's a very tall order in this second round. Too far away.
Yeah. I mean, Solotov never really been put in a playmaking position that round. Unable to find an advantageous play. BDS lose the first pick. Attackers then isolated. Not much pressure really on the top floor to enable any sort of vert if they wanted to try and play that, even though that probably wasn't really on the agenda. So overall, this round kind of petering out a little bit, whereas top floor far more competitive, comes down to the trade game and a nice little clutch from Handy. This time around, it's going to be a lockdown from FaZe, barring a miracle from BDS. But that won't happen, and FaZe 2 on the trot.
Yeah, very clinical round from FaZe. Thought they had really good map spacing and control. They were able to take fights on their terms. BDS never really at any point kind of looked likely in that round. Ultimately, the blitz play over towards blue really got them nothing. They certainly weren't able to really get any kind of spacing. Well, that opening kill from Solus is a really wonderful headshot. Not a lot there to look at, but he finds the angle. Yeah, there was a response from BDS, which did bring it back to 4v4, but yeah, as soon as that kill, yeah, and highlighting their users, just having absolutely no idea that KDS was even that remotely close to him. FaZe were on the move. They were moving around. They weren't stagnant. They weren't just holding positions. Yeah, and it just keeps BDS guessing. 2-0 start for FaZe. Decent. Now we go to tank and assembly. Thought we'd maybe get this in the second round, but we'll get it in the third. But again, the reminder really is for this map, defense, defense, defense.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe know better than anybody. It's not over till it's over on Nighthaven Labs.
They certainly do know.
They'll be very eager to stack as many rounds defensively as they possibly can. On BDS's map pick, apply a bit of pressure, see if they'll crack.
5 seconds remaining.
Some concerning signs in the previous round for the Europeans, but nothing that can be brushed off here on a basement attack. Just a singular hard breach, at least primary, with the ace in tow. And it would appear that FaZe are going to employ quite a roam. It is just Vidiking on the basement floor in assembly. Everybody else currently off-site. Hence the Fenrir being brought, who escaped the ban FaZe, can be used on the peripheral. And Leisure Minds as well to feed information to the rest of the team. The Goyo for site control. Oh, Cyber. You need to win this fight.
Oh no, that's a bit of a calamity. Cyber probably has to get that kill first time. He just wasn't quick enough on the trigger. Loses out, and an opportunity for BDS now presents itself, one that they haven't really had in this match. Deathmark activated. Watching Bomb as well on top of it. Puts the pressure well and truly onto Handy on the Fenrir. One down for FaZe, and BDS with a really good opportunity. And they are hunting.
Yeah, interesting there from Shaiko, right? So he jumps on the death mark, then doubles down on the drone, trying to feed information to the likes of Liquefact on the entry. Now on an island behind Pillar.
Gotta get this kill. Oh, what a shot back from Handy! He got them both!
No way!
Despite the death mark, despite the pings, despite the logic bomb, and despite all of it, but no, eventually loses his life. But job done from Handy. 3 versus 2. And we're kind of back where we started in this round with 1 player advantage for BDS. 90 seconds left, and they can start to turn their attention a little bit more towards sight, of which KDS is there, Vidiking close by. And so for BDS now, it's all about the late round site execution that's going to be forthcoming.
Yeah, Vidiking Cafeteria, perhaps contemplating some kind of roam here. And we can see right-hand side of screen, that's exactly what's taking place, but has been droned out. Position compromised. BDS may look to cut him off, could opt to try and go more direct towards site. Either way, Vidiking has been able to escape. Goyo canisters likely peppered around the objective so they can look to stall out time from those particular positions. But BDS, with the man advantage, in a good position to flood and trade out these picks.
I certainly can't say for BDS, they've really got a lot of utility to help them with this push onto site. What's going to help them the most is the fact that they got the player advantage. A frag grenade available through Solotov. Outside of that, though, very little. Trying to play with some vert here at the moment from users. On the Dokkaebi, no logic bombs remaining. Not a lot of time remaining either, and the longer this game starts to dwindle down, the less this advantage is going to be beneficial. Head peek through the doorway, unsuccessful shot though from Solotov, and the swing back really nicely done from Vidiking. 15 seconds left. Kid in the hands of Bride. They actually double stack together, super risky. But it does mean in any kind of fight here in this position, FaZe should be favorable. 5 seconds left, sticking the plant inside of assembly. They've just allowed them to get into sight and get the plant down. Now it's suddenly a 2v2. Post-plant retake. Huge shot from users. He's got 3 in the round, and Vidiking needs to find the final 2.
Doesn't get it. Clean from Bride. The double stack there from FaZe. An intriguing decision. Trying to bait the push through from BDS. But they themselves play tight. Allowed to get that plant down and then play it well in the post.
Took a gamble.
Didn't pay off.
Didn't pay off. I think actually once you probably get that kill and it becomes a 2 versus 2, maybe you have to split back, play site, deny that plant attempt. An intriguing round though, and we kind of, as we go back through the replays, Handy really salvaged it. 5 versus 3 from this position, getting tracked down, getting hunted. He finds 2 kills and keeps the round alive then for FaZe. Once that kill onto Solotov comes through though, it's time to reposition.
Yeah, they had the Goyo canister as well in this particular position to deny the entry for default. And because they were double stacked on the other side, they obviously couldn't activate it. So that risk doesn't pay off. It was calculated in some respects, but BDS able to play around that nicely. Able to get their first round on the board as we head into the second rotation. Back up above.
Yeah, back over to command and server.
5 seconds to go.
So 2-1 in favor of FaZe, but a very important attacking round for BDS that has been acquired. They won't really need that many of them in this opening half. Tuberau has been selected by KDS along with the Kaid, so stall out attempt in towards IT, I would imagine.
Reload.
Double hard bridge in response, of course, for BDS. Amos once again.
Yeah, I'm liking this map from BDS. We'll see it here once more, and that will negate the debuff of the Tuberau. Also opens up an opportunity to create line of sight at the bottom of the wall, and someone can sit back on the stairs and get line of sight. Also opens up a route for users to get the wall with an exothermic uncontested. And that will be the option taken here by BDS. So within the first minute of the round, that's at least one key objective dealt with. Con will likely be up next. And I'm anticipating that they're going to stick to their guns, right? We think back to the last time they attacked this particular site. Outside of allowing Handy to sneak forward and find a multi, it was actually rather well played.
Yeah, just maybe like to see a little bit more pressure on the blue side. Didn't really offer a whole lot last time out. Also, I think they had the blitz too. Didn't really do too much. Good drone information in towards Garage. Rafters has been scouted out. Frost mats have also been spotted. So good information has been acquired now for BDS. And again, it's also the kind of site that you do not need to be too rapid. Oh, good shot in the push in from Shaiko.
That's
a little bit ballsy, and that certainly is, yeah. And Cyber will lose his life. 1 and 3. Not quite a start hit like, but here comes Handy again. 6 and 1. The standout so far for FaZe, who's been so prominent in these opening 4 rounds, continues to just keep them in these rounds. No more Dokkaebi, no more logic bombs.
That play from Shaiko, they're feeling somewhat esque to what we saw from ITB at times last night, where they find that pocket of space, quick call with initiative, find that pick, and then it could roll into more. Shaiko for another.
Straight in towards IT, but he does lose his life to Souls. So the trade is swift. It's certainly going to be an IT push. Users there with the kit. Now watching Liquefac in towards Con. 40 seconds remaining in this round. Okay, you got Rafters, you got Garage, but can you clear out Electrical? Handy's close by. And he's trying to find this kill. Shotgun, good up close. Okay, there's a good push in. The knife kill onto KDS is a successful one. But only 2 players to deal with now. Liquefac, he hasn't got kit. He hasn't got a lot of time. He knows where Handy is. That's a tough position to push in towards Electrical, though. The shield, so strong. 4 souls. He can play behind that inside of command. They don't really need to move. They can hold their locations. Don't need to peek. Don't need to play. Play the time, guys. Force Liquefac to push into you. And as soon as he does, and he tries to walk through the doorway, it's an easy shot. 3-1 for FaZe. A little scrappy, especially compared to some of the opening rounds. But yeah, FaZe do come through on the defense.
Yeah, you got to feel a bit bad for Shaiko there in that round. Gets the opening kill, opening pick. Then able to produce yet another kill from an unexpected position. As we see on the highlight reel, there was the first. Oh, that was the one down below. Okay, so Solotov there caught on drone. Shaiko able to sneak forward for the second, but then FaZe able to bunker down on site. And then a really good textbook display in the 2 versus 1. Nobody over peeking, both players in sync. We saw the deployable shield utility here from Souls. Played around perfectly as well. And BDS being shown that if they want to get attacking rounds here on Skyscraper, only 2 opportunities left in the half, they need to step it up.
And it goes without saying, but really well played there at the end from those 2, Handy and Souls. One's in Electrical, which if you're the attacker at that point and you've got 15 seconds and you don't have kit, you don't really want to be clearing that and pushing that and wasting time. And he's got SMG, he's got shotgun, close angle, he's favored. And then if you push Souls, he's playing behind the shield. So what do you realistically
You're
do?
screwed.
So the worst thing that you could do there if you're FaZe is just get overzealous, peek out, and try and take fights. And they don't do that. They're smart. They calculated. They're up 3-1. 2 rounds to go in this half. BDS, though, they don't need that many attacking rounds. So it's just all about perseverance. What we saw there from Shaiko, really good. 2 kills. Can they bring that same firepower here into this 5th round? The Deimos effectiveness, a little questionable maybe. It has been utilized quite heavily from BDS at times. We're seeing the death marks go out. You think back to when they tried to hunt down Handy with the death mark and the pings, and it didn't quite work out.
I wonder if they tried to avoid Handy here, knowing and sensing that he's threatening at the moment 6 kills, or do they actually double down, clear him off, and then know that the rest of the round will be, you know, alleviated in terms of pressure. Handy is up close, first fight.
Yeah, I like that. Handy's taking fights in different ways too. Close contact on the entry. We're seeing him roam when he got that kill onto Solotov in the previous round. He's holding anchor site positions as well. So he's doing it all right now. Being rewarded for it. Just trying to keep the pressure directly onto BDS and say, no, we're not going to allow the swift entry in through IT. Shaiko maybe, though, trying to see if he can just find an angle in towards Rafters. Oh, a random frag grenade, and Handy stays in a pretty dangerous position to then get that kill. Cross back, doesn't get traded. Huge kill onto Shaiko, taking out a big threat from that previous round, and a double down then from KDS. FaZe looking strong. Early days, but Labs right now is theirs.
Yeah, wow. Handy is looking so sharp at the moment.
Oh, Handy's on something. 9-1.
Double digits if he wins this, and he does. Burrito falls off the back of the headshot. It's a quad for Handy.
Wow.
Wow. And I was actually watching on our overhead on the side there, right? We saw him prior to that on stream. Flashed, he falls back, immediately then responds, and doubly aggressors at the breach. BDS aren't holding down the line. They let him have that space. He's clearly sharp and not missing shots, and so you have to be spot on in terms of positioning in order to try and outmaneuver Handy at the moment, and BDS lacking that sharpness.
It has forced an interesting tactical timeout from BDS, and I think it's actually well timed, even though I'm always one that it's around that 3-round mark that I like it if things aren't working well. But in a map like this, where pre-match I said 5 defensive rounds on Labs, let's be realistic here. It means that for BDS you got one more opportunity to get an attacking round. Take the time out now, talk things over, right? And give everything you got into this round. You find this second attacking round and suddenly game is back on. If you can't find it, FaZe get to 5 defense and they take a bit of control going into the second half. So this ends up being now a very pivotal and critical round to close the half out. We go to basement, tank and assembly. FaZe are looking good, but how much of that is down to Handy? Here is his POV in these replays. Good shots, but he is getting a lot of these shots outside of that one there onto users where it's unsuspecting players, right? But a lot of that then comes down to positioning. The way he's moving and getting around the map, great spacing, good control. He's not just holding a position, holding an angle. He's moving around, he's feeling confident. And that's where it's like that, the question you posed. Do you death mark him? Do you double down? Or or do you avoid him? I don't know what you do, but they keep bringing the Deimos, and we're not seeing, I think, the fruits of it.
Well, off the back of the tack, basement, we go round 6. Final opportunity for BDS to put up a respectable scoreline here in the first half. Otherwise, it is going to have to be one hell of a comeback for them. Again, I don't want to bring it up too many times, but FaZe have been up by significant margins here on Labs, and it has fallen apart before.
I've picked at the other stream as well. I was like, I'm going to see how Nade's performing as well. Maybe it's like Twin Moon at the moment. Nade's like 4 and 5. It's not quite the brotherly instinct going on. In fact, spoiler warning in terms of B stream, SSG right now at 5-3 up.
Really?
Furia. Yeah, and of course that is that's map 3. So kind of keep an eye on that one as we get through this one. Final round of the half. FaZe up 4-1. Big round coming up. Cyber's on the move in towards IT. Couple of sprays. There is that early logic bomb, and they've brought the Jackal too. So it's all about hunting down in this round now. If you're BDS, the Deimos, the Dockerby, the Jackal, and then you've got hard breach, soft breach potential to go alongside that. So understanding if you're BDS, you've spoken about this, you've just had your tactical timeout, FaZe are playing a roam game, let's double down into that. We need to try and take them out so that we've got significant player advantage then heading into basement.
Yeah, no final stand up above here from FaZe on the second floor. Instead, scattered first floor. Good work from BDS in terms of baiting out that Nitro. Won't have an impact, although there's still 3 in the pockets of the FaZe clan members.
Yeah.
So certainly something to keep in mind is...
I think they might fall back to side here, and an understanding for FaZe right now. If you're BDS and you've brought so much firepower in trying to clear out the roam, well then you can probably then fall back, play side a little early. You've got the Nitro cells for that as well.
Yeah, execute utility will be really intriguing for BDS, what they'll have remaining at that point in time. Second Nitro utilized by FaZe, and again, not having impact. As we're into a critical phase of the round, BDS want to hold on for as long as possible, waste some time.
Play this perfectly.
Or not waste time, rather, and FaZe looking to waste it themselves. But they fall back. Now just 2 players above. Shokos look dangerous. Scorecard might not reflect it at the moment with just the 3 picks. But if there's anyone to open up the round for BDS, it may well be him.
Yeah, I think FaZe have very much understood the mission in this final round of the half. Heavy roam clear from BDS to try and play down below as much as possible. Only 2 players first floor at the moment, Handy and Souls.
This is so far away from the objective, 50 seconds, and they're struggling to clear Handy again.
Yeah, just wasting so much time. He's targeting the mute with the death mark as well. All it takes is 1 mute jammer, and it does essentially nothing. Look at Fact running around through the hallways of first floor. Shaiko is still just wary of the fact that there are roamers and he can't win the 1v1 against Souls. Nothing working right now on the attack for BDS. In fact, they are just being lit up. FaZe too strong defensively. All this time wasted. The roam clear unsuccessful. And when it comes time to hit the site itself, FaZe are just too good and sharp. Liquefact with a good headshot onto Cyber makes it a 1v3, but no kit, no time, no chance. Surely that's the motto.
Yeah, round over. Officially, there it is. A 5-1 half to FaZe Clan. And that last round highlighting some of the weaknesses that BDS are displaying at the moment. Handy over towards Cafeteria, wasting a lot of time with little risk. The castle setup making it very difficult for BDS to find those rotations, to cut them off back towards site. And even those able to get in good positions, like your Shaikos, to find that opening engagement, to apply some counter pressure, not winning ones.
We flip into the second half though, and again the expectation now is for BDS to emulate what we just saw from FaZe Clan. A really, really solid effort though from FaZe Clan. The ability to switch up their playstyle as well, very evident on display, especially what we saw in contrast to a couple of those first 4 or 5 rounds, then that final round of the half. They understood the mission. BDS are coming, they're bringing everything they've got to clear out this roam game. Let's just be a little bit more apprehensive, but then we're still not just going to fall back to side. It's not 5 in basement. You've still got 2 players first floor looking to just go for a bit of a counter strike, and in the end, it catches BDS off guard. Really well played. And coupling this, it is BDS's map pick. Keeping that in mind, though, defense we go, BDS should be able to get a bit of a roll on. And if they don't, well, man, trouble brewing.
There's no unlimited overtime this time though. We don't have to get too worried.
Well, it's not like FaZe played unlimited OT anyway.
No, there's more so SI flashbacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It may have been unlimited OT, but they still lost it in 2.
True.
Either way. This is the intriguing thing as well, right? As defender-sided as it is in this moment, if you're BDS and you lose like command server in the 7th round, then you're staring down 6-1. But if there is a team that has ever been up 6-1 on Nighthaven Labs, it is FaZe and lost it.
We need a swear jar. Next person to bring it up, $100 in the swear jar. So round 7 we go, and it is top 4 as anticipated. With the Kaid in play, that will be a valuable tool in trying to keep these walls up. That said, in response, we see the Mav, and we've seen a decent amount of Mav so far this evening here on Labs. Handy this time to give it a go.
Pulse is interesting. Oh, good opening shot. Souls though onto Solitop,
yeah.
And that's the Tuberel.
That's very clean. I thought it was maybe just chilling with the secondary hard breach to maybe open it up or be some kind of second line of defense, but not to be. Flashes in hand on the rappel, line of sight, wins the fight, comes across and now opens it up with the skeleton key. And that's pretty much a perfect start for FaZe.
Yeah, I don't want to say pure win condition here for Liquefac on the Pulse, but he's going to be a big factor in this round. If he can find anything with Cardiac Sensor, Nitrocell kill, get this round back without having to take a contact fight directly. If he can just get something from down below, he does need to also be careful. We know, I think FaZe, the way that they've been playing, they'll probably look to just slip in, try and clear out any potential roamers first floor. So he does need to be careful. He's over towards Garage. In fact, just making his way in towards Rafters now is Liquefac. So he's joined back up. 4 on site now for BDS, sensing the pressure. Big util dump coming in through electrical. If you're KDS, that is your job. On the striker. He's got flashes, he's got nades, Nitrocell, and the peak. That was so well played. 3 versus 4. 12 HP for Liquefac. Still lots of time though for FaZe. BDS are just holding on. Feels like they're on the ropes. A head was there momentarily, but Vidikin couldn't find the chance to get the shot. Walks in anyway, gets the kill onto users. Trade does come through from the Pulse. But they're just once again playing from behind. They don't have the numbers. Huge kill though from Brede. Now a 2v2. Numbers evened up. Plant to go down from KDS, and the Pulse is strong again through Liquefac. And that's much better from BDS. Where's that been?
That was explosive. I mean, FaZe were doing a great job of just chipping away, and as you would typically expect, top floor, playing into the man advantage, winning trade fights. Then we saw things awkwardly unlock over towards that Rafters position. And with that plant going down, covered over towards electrical, and in that moment, it's in some respects a 1 versus 2. BDS capitalized in that particular moment. Showed some good sharpness.
I like the way that for Liquefac, where when you're playing that Pulse, you almost think organically, it's like looking up, find player, throw Nitrocell. But he's almost used it as a way to kind of push through first floor, then back up to second floor, clears out warehouse, right? So Garage is clear. You can call that out. You can calm that out. Then you can go play site. We know where they're kind of pushing in from. He was so critical in bringing that round back for BDS. His ability to stay alive as well, get into the fights. And I thought he was definitely the star man of that round for what he was able to do. Start to finish, really helps out. Brede strong on site defensively. Still, throughout all of that, and while that was certainly much better from BDS, they were pretty close to losing that round.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, but a round win is a round win, especially on primary sites, so BDS will take that. Not taking any chances here. Round 8 basement, we go the expected rotation here defensively. Well, I said I would shout it out if Sky hit a good free cam.
All right, Sky.
That was pretty good.
He's cooking.
I was hoping we'd stay on it a little while longer and he'd stuff it up, but
I don't know if you could have stuffed that one up.
No, he'd find a way.
Well, what can BDS do off of this now? Momentum needs to be certainly built. You're down 2-5, so you've got to get the rounds ticking over. You need to force FaZe back into the thinking game. FaZe certainly can kind of throw bodies at these sites, at these problems. Yeah, they've got a couple of rounds that they can really use. Certainly banked up in the back pocket. Down to basement we go for this 8th round. 2-round combination with the Kaid once again employed. Not too surprising. Of course, lost the 2-brow very early in that previous round.
Hello?
Hello, Souls, double kill. On the exterior as well, I think in towards vending. He must have vaulted in, then back out. I'm not too sure. We didn't see it. I imagine we'll get the replay of it. Either way, 2-kill start for FaZe. Puts the pressure rightfully onto BDS. Behind the tank now, pinged out. Users taken down to half health. Straight in for Handy. 11-2. How aggressive FaZe continue to play, and certainly now smelling blood in the water. An opportunity to strike has presented itself here on basement. And a timely logic bomb from KDS to just try and hint out where these last two players are. A little bit of a fight back from said last two players. The pistol shot lands on the head of Vidaking. Users and Shaiku. Last standing on this site. The head to pop. No, what a shot from below. Users on the low ground gets the kill onto Handy in a 1v1 now. Lots of time remaining. KDS spots him up close. The flash. Does he push immediately off of it? He does, but he misses the shot. Users, that was so strong on site. BDS are fighting strong in these 2 rounds.
Wow. How have BDS gone on to win that round? They lose 2 picks out of seemingly nowhere on the rotation up above from outside to kick things off.
Oh my.
And Users just puts the foot down. He doesn't just place it down, he slams it down.
What do you even do if you're FaZe? You don't take a timeout. There's nothing really to talk about, guys. We're getting entry kills. We're opening up the site. We're doing everything so well. There's the lineup. There's the replay. But like, it's a 5v2 and you've lost the round. Incredibly well played. Look at the positioning. Look at the shot.
Crisp, clean lock.
Handy has got to get that kill there as well. And had he done so, KDS would have got his, and that would have been round over. And BDS are very fortunate, but very stalwart on their defense. 3-5.
I mean, Users certainly had a couple things go his way there,
10
but
seconds remaining.
You always need
he
an element
played it
of luck.
as well as he could in terms of
Absolutely.
positioning. He landed the shots he needed to, like absolutely phenomenal. And that's the kind of moment in a match that can inspire the rest of the team as well.
The big thing as well for me is I think BDS can actually play a lot better in these early rounds.
Yeah.
So if they actually start to play a lot better in these early rounds, FaZe aren't going to be having 5v2 advantages all that often. So for BDS, certainly the pathway forward now well and truly there. 2 rounds that realistically FaZe should have won. They have not won.
Double hard breach, Thatcher combo here, round 9 for FaZe.
The issue, though, is the early contact fights, entry denial has been poor. That's really what they've struggled with so far. On-site defense has been great. But you can't just stack 5 on site.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup here from FaZe would indicate that it'll be a case of opening up above, exterior garage, and then they'll be the sort of team that are going to then analyze what's in front of them, what the setup is. If there's any pockets of space, they can take horizontally over towards cafeteria, for instance. I think that may have now been spotted out. And then look to circle around this defensive setup from BDS. They have brought the castle in play, and that can make cutting off rotations more challenging. Just limit some of the line of sight options available. Handy might be cooking here with information onto Shaiko. Although I don't know if anyone's really in position yet to capitalize upon that. Still waiting for vert control from up above. Nomad as well in play, and so rotating back up above to contest that could be a challenge for BDS.
I also feel like FaZe, so far in these attacks, have actually been playing faster paced than what we typically see from them. This might be the round in which they are now actually playing a little bit more akin to what we usually see from FaZe Clan. A bit more slow, methodical, you know, get through these checklists, open things up slowly, not looking to rush and run around. You know, there's just over 60 seconds remaining, and I don't think we've heard a real shot at anybody throughout the map. Oh, that was an interesting angle that was found momentarily. And yeah, getting shot at Bride. He doesn't even know really where from. KDS does get the opening kill anyway into Solitol. So for the second round in a row, it will be a 2-player advantage gained and acquired for FaZe Clan. Make that now a 5v2 for the second round in a row. Down to Shaiko and Lickfact. This time, though, no dramatic, strong defense from BDS. Lickfact will need all 5 kills, and he cannot get a single one. Souls will make it a flawless round. Much better from FaZe Clan, and they get themselves map point.
That's how the last round should have played out, really, when you think about it, and the early advantage that was ascertained. BDS unable to put foot down that time around, losing a couple of picks unanswered, not in tradable positions. Once that castle setup was initially broken down, it really did highlight some of the lines of sights that were weakened and positions that were then difficult to hold. FaZe played off good information that they're able to gather. That wasn't denied correctly by BDS. So the tertiary site reaping its rewards. In fact, in some respects, we actually kind of saw the castle on a couple of occasions there, actually, to the demise of the defense with line of sight below them. Either way, though, FaZe now on map point and fired up once more.
I feel like it's very easy after those last 2 rounds to probably be a little bit tilted, especially the most recent one. in round 8. But ultimately, FaZe were able to get the job done there in round 9, flawlessly, in fact, and now they've got themselves map point. Looking to steal the map away from BDS, who did pick this map. BDS now require 3 rounds in a row. We go to command and server here, top floor, for this 10th round.
5 seconds left.
And it's been tricky. They keep bringing Tuber out, Kaid. I don't know if it's really stalling out long enough or good enough. It reminds me a little bit of Deimos in the first half, right? We're not really seeing the benefit of it all that much. So a lot of the operator selections, I think, for BDS have actually not really dealt much of a blow to FaZe Clan in this series.
So the striker in play then for round 10, and KDS bringing flashes and frag grenades, the most common combination on striker for the ability to util dump particular positions. And on top floor, for instance, electrical is probably the most likely place we'll see that utility utilized to flush out anybody close by. Users may respond, though he's on that warden, and so the best operator in dealing with that.
And just a word of warning here. If you don't want a spoiler of the B stream, the other quarterfinal that's happening right now, of course, I'll give you a 3-second countdown. 3, 2, and 1. 6-6. Overtime.
When you started with S, I thought you were going to say SSG1. I was like, what?
Well, they have a chance. It is overtime. Map 3 over on the B stream. If you want to go check that one out between SSG and Furia. Of course, quite a bit to go still in this particular series. FaZe looking to close out the opening map and take a lead against BDS. Does mean if SSG can't come through in that series and BDS can't come through here, there will be an all-Brazilian semi-final top 4.
They might be back. They might be back. Minute 30 on the clock here, though, for what may be the final round of labs between these two titans. So far, it's been pretty straightforward groundwork from the attack, with exterior hard breach opened up. Just preparing themselves now in key positions. Vidaking still has 3 samples in hand, and he'll combine with Cyber to help open up con wall. That then having a route in towards this pillar position, currently being held by Liquefac. And we can see those Zoto canisters from the Tubarão stalling out the breach. But there's still a minute to go, so time not the biggest of concerns here for FaZe. They'll be rather content so far. Frost also in play. We'll quickly note that. There is one right next to the breach, and that could come into play as time becomes more of a pressing issue. Sometimes things can be overlooked.
I mean, typically a site, I keep saying that you don't really need a lot of time. That does get tricked as well, but 35 seconds is not a lot of time. This is a really good round so far from BDS, yet despite that, they lose the opening player of Shaiko to Handy. Now up to 13 kills. Not a lot of time, so you have to basically just send it in. Going through doorways, you don't have the angles. Surely this is a round in which BDS can slowly bring things back. Indeed, they do with 2 quick kills there, though. A 3v3 with 15 seconds left. Huge kill. Liquefac love the little swing, though. Aggression from users, not just holding an angle, not just falling back. They want to take the fight to FaZe. Much better from BDS. Certainly a very strong defense, kept them locked out for a good time. The wall denial was much, much better there from BDS. In fact, probably one of their best round, if not the best round when it came to the operator selection and usage. Locked FaZe out, forced them into just a deep rush into sight. Didn't quite work out, even as good as FaZe are in their shooting capabilities, couldn't quite bring it back. 6-4, and a tactical pause as well from FaZe.
Yeah, and I think that round more than anything highlighting that even when Shaiko is having a little bit of an off day, not finding as many opening engagements go his way as BDS would typically rely on. I mean, at the moment going 4 and 10, we cast their minds back. One that comes to mind is the one where he got the double opener, and they still actually didn't, ironically, convert that particular round. But we're seeing the likes of users really step up. I mean, he's playing phenomenally at the moment in double digits, doing well, and even more so than that previous round. A good team effort, as you mentioned. Their composition and the way they played around util was probably the best that we've seen so far. Hitting clean shots, FaZe forced into unfavorable fights. Time then did become an issue as well. That said, FaZe do have their tactical pause still in pocket. They'll bring that out now, and as it comes to its conclusion, an opportunity to just relax a little bit here, settle themselves up for the next primary site of basement, and formulate a plan to lock this out.
Yeah, 2 more rounds required now for BDS to send this one to overtime to complete the comeback. Yeah, unfortunate there, but you can really see it here in the replay at the very least for BDS, showing they're pushing forward, right? They're the ones that are being like, okay, there's not a lot of time left, but let's not allow them in the site. Let's go right at them when they're not expecting it. They're trying to run, right? They're trying to sprint, trying to get in, they're trying to move. That's when we'll catch them off guard. So really good play from BDS. To basement we go. Of course, last time out we saw a very, very good standing defense from users. Played it well. FaZe got themselves I think it was a 5-on-2 advantage here on Tank Assembly. Couldn't close out that round. 11th round we go.
10 seconds left before insertion.
And the cap can, intriguingly enough, has been brought from Solotov. Struggling to get involved in this game, 2-9. Maybe a couple of those EDDs could go off for him.
Yeah, we did see BDS unfortunately fall to a lineup on the rotation up above. Put them in the 5 versus 3, which compounded. Certainly not expecting that to happen again. Was a little bit of a fluke, but important to note that the rotation back towards site, if there is a roam employed, and there are a couple of players off site currently for BDS. That could be a telling portion of the round if FaZe are able to capture them on their way back to site again. There is some insiders to those players away from the objective. Blue outlines scattered across vending, kitchen, and storage. Of course, that is one of the improvements with the HUD. We know where everyone is all the time.
Yeah, I love that feature.
Liquor fact in kitchen, but elsewhere, our eyes on the hard breach. 2-Brown response from Shiko this time around. Stalling out double wall as the single gets opened up. But for now, this will largely be groundwork for the latter portion of the round. Still a lot to be done off-site in clearing up those key positions on the first floor to facilitate any attempt for a plant. Eyes back now to kitchen.
No map control for FaZe though. It's all on the exterior. They're all just so focused on main bridge down below. They're not clearing out potential roamers. Yeah, there's only 90 seconds left, which means if they are going to do so, they're doing so quite late in the round as well. Logic Bomb does get used by KDS, and Sol's actually losing his life to Shiko, who's actually in basement. So I imagine that was maybe just a main breach peak. It's not a good round for FaZe. I don't think they've played this really all that well. They've put the pressure on and opening up. Well, they haven't even got actual main breach. They've only got single wall. They haven't really cleared much above. They're still all on the exterior. 60 seconds left. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to win.
Everyone's in basement, and they're looking to play for cutoffs on the rotation back towards site. I don't know if that's because of a lack of information. Even Handy's being wary of a potential flank.
Well, they were drone. They were heavy site droning.
Yeah,
they haven't really droned off site. You see one there actually pretty nicely placed. 45 seconds. It's literally going to be a repeat of that last round where you, on command server. Rush into site, walk through doorways, walk down stairwells, and see if you can just get kills. BDS are going to be very well placed for that. They've got the numerical advantage as well. 5 versus 4. There's no time left. This can sometimes be really the thorn in the side of FaZe. These slow-paced rounds can cost them.
20 seconds then. Breaking this down will be a challenge for FaZe. Initiation shown. Liquorfac wins the fight, no trade. At this point, the round surely over, but Handy able to cover the plant. Push comes through. Cyber will be key, but Handy falls. So too will the diffuser, and now a 1 versus 3.
That was shocking.
Round confirmed. BDS, honestly, didn't have to work for a lot of site control.
That was shocking.
It was...
You could have posted me up in tank there, and I think we still would have won the round as BDS. It didn't have to do much.
Yeah.
So the issue that round for FaZe, one, you don't even get main breach, so you don't get double wall, you only get single wall. That's not really enough because we saw Souls lose his life through that anyway. Shiko gets the kill. So immediately as that happens, then they're like, okay, well, we can't really push through this, can we? So then the last second, with like 60 seconds left, we see them go back over towards storage. By that point, you haven't really cleared anything out. You don't even have the hatch opened up. And it's literally just slow pushed down towards site. That was a shocking round for FaZe. They've been good here in this map. And well and truly, I still feel like maybe even deserve to win this map, but that was the poorest round we've seen from them thus far. And it's really just giving this potential chance now to BDS. It's 5-6. OT could be beckoning.
Yeah, a lack of pace needs to be made up for in terms of being very in sync and confident and having a very direct game plan and having really good information and not wasting time elsewhere. And it screamed uncertainty through the mid to late round there from FaZe, where they're checking positions where players most certainly are not. Worried about flank game, etc., which was never in play.
5 seconds to go.
So maybe highlighting some issues in gathering information, relaying that, playing off it.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
All it takes is this one round. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
6-5. It's still a map point for FaZe. They'll certainly be ruining their chances here in this particular half. You think back to the start of it as well, those rounds where, you know, they had the 5-on-2 advantages, the 5-on-3 advantages, and they were unable to execute a round win. Well, certainly no trouble with that particular breach this time around.
Important round for FaZe. Looking to steal the pick of BDS. But that lead has shrunk. Can BDS push at least one more round here for an overtime? The Docker be in play, and the logic bomb rings out. Cyber looking to lurk through lobby. Just the 4 kills for him so far. Gaining space on this side of the map. Shock drones in play from the Twitch. Counterplay on offer. Flammable my discs, mute jammers even, Valkyrie cameras too.
This is better though. They're getting a little bit more first floor presence, moving around the map, clearing out positions like lobby and cafe, and you've also still got a little bit of more direct pressure as well through the breach. So the hallway, can they take this contact towards blue? If anyone swings that hallway, you're probably in a better position. Well, here we go. Maybe a chance if Cyber does indeed swing, and he does. Reward for moving around the map, getting into key positions, not just hanging outside on the exterior. Liquefact maybe looking to double down. He does make it through the doorway, but not unscathed. Down to half health. Plant as well. So now post-plant retake for BDS, where they have not got themselves into an advantaged position at all. FaZe just through sheer aggression. And I think for Liquefact, the long arm of the law, stick this one, hold it. Although he doesn't really get the opportunity to do so from above on the roof, where you will see the end of Nighthaven Labs. FaZe just able to scrape by in the end. 7-5 this time around. They do not allow the comeback.
Big result from FaZe in this best of 3 in what is sure to be a tightly contested 3 maps.
And at the very same time, I don't want to give away the spoiler again. So the countdown 3, 2, 1. The other result, it actually went to all 15 rounds, guys, on the B-Stream matchup between Furia and SSG. Furia taking it home over the North American team, which does mean if BDS get eliminated in this next map, there will be no non-Brazilian teams remaining at the tournament.
Wouldn't that be one hell of a storyline? I mean, the ball now in the court of BDS to respond on Bank. I think they still have plenty in the tank. BDS have been in these positions, backs against the wall plenty of times before. They'll rest, they'll rejuvenate, and they'll come back fighting.
I actually think for BDS as well, specifically, there were some intriguing rounds. I don't think they played awful. I think they actually played pretty well, but they can certainly play a lot better. But regardless, FaZe take it. 7-5 here in the opening map of this series. We're going to go over to the stage with Ginny and Anne.
Hello, Ginny here, joined with Anne, and we are sitting on the stage after the FaZe Clan BDS match that we've just witnessed. A lot of expectations that we had heading into this, and we genuinely believe that this is going to be one of the closer games that we've seen today. I want to start off with the fact that this was BDS's map pick, but it genuinely did not go in their favor.
No, we saw BDS play this map before, of course, one of the 2 maps that they've shown so far in this tournament. We talked about the importance of BDS having technically only played 2 maps prior to this, and they were definitely facing a difficult team here. It started off with Handy's massive 1v3. I think Handy so far in general had some really big impact plays in this entire game. Ended up going, what, 14-5 or something? Absolute case for him.
Yeah, and I think individual performances from the side of FaZe Clan definitely is something to commemorate. We're looking at BDS's side of things, and it felt like there were a couple of those plays coming through, but it wasn't a consistent factor to allow them to close out the map.
No, actually, indeed. It was, of course, Users having that great play with the Revolver in round 8 to really bring the round back in their own favor. But apart from that, I felt like quite a few of the BDS players were getting caught off guard. There were moments where they were on their drones, just getting shot from behind, as if FaZe knew what their every move was going to be, having obviously seen what BDS has already done on this map. And quite a few times that you see these BDS players like Shaiko, where we know he's a great entry, swing, have the advantage in the gunfight is what you're thinking, and still lose in the gunfight.
Yeah, that is, again, the Brazilian gunplay that was coming out here for the side of FaZe Clan, and they are definitely in the lead to really also highlight the fact that this is BDS's map pick, and going into the next one, that is FaZe's pick. That's where they feel the most comfortable to take this enemy on. I want to look at BDS's perspective and think, okay, you've lost your map pick, you are genuinely one map away from being eliminated. What are the changes that you're expecting from their side of things when we're heading into the next one?
It's really difficult if a player isn't having their day. That's the kind of mindset, I guess, that you have to go into. Because you did see these players go for aggressive peaks, aggressive swings. It wasn't as if they realized, oh, I'm not really hitting my shots today, let me just go sit in the corner. That was not what BDS were doing. That's actually what helped them win a few rounds on defense as well, to still be aggressive, still get into these gunfights actively. So that's something they have to keep in their mind. They know what FaZe does. I know they have the support staff to do the kind of investigation to see what FaZe has brought out on Bang before. And you also have to keep in mind, you, as well as FaZe, have been unbeaten on this map since March.
I know, but someone's gonna have to lose that record, right? Because like they're going up against each other, FaZe unbeaten, BDS unbeaten, which one's gonna lose it? And I think with the form that FaZe is coming in today, yesterday's wake-up call seemed to have genuinely shook them.
Yeah, I think the general consensus we had on the desk was that FaZe maybe is having a more difficult tournament than we thought they were going to have. Maybe they're even expecting that or thinking that from themselves rather. But this is looking a lot better. Yes, it was very close, but it was still regulation. And to beat your opponent on a map pick that they picked as the very first map they could select from any of the maps that was left, that's giving a very clear statement.
Yeah, but also BDS has never lost a tournament in Saudi Arabia, so that is something that we're gonna have to keep looking forward to. But we're ready to heading over to Tristan, who has a Telestrator segment to highlight some of the incredible plays that we've seen from FaZe Clan.
Yes, thank you, Ginny, and thank you, Anne. You join me at the Telestration station. I want to take you back now to round 3 of this matchup. There were a lot of really, really close rounds in this match. And just to bring you back again to round 3 here, I'll paint the picture for you. It's a 3v2 for FaZe Clan. For BDS, sorry, against FaZe Clan. But just watch the player movement here, which is so essential. The first gunfight's coming up here. It gets won by FaZe Clan. It's a 2v2. But I want you to really focus on the movement here of Brede, one of the most clutch players in Rainbow Six. What's happening here is FaZe Clan are setting up a trap. If I remove that from Brede and we place it onto the Legion instead, what FaZe want here is for Brede to come in and fall into a 2v1 trap. But what does Brede do? Have a watch here of this outline. He thinks about it, but he backs off instead. He decides, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Let me wait a second. Let me regroup with my teammate. Suddenly, there's a little bit of panic in FaZe. They're swinging around of angles. They're not sure what's going on. They're not sure what the execute is. But at the same point in time, again, look what happens. It's this mini chess game of Siege towards the late rounds that great teams do. We have, again, Brede here. He's rotated away with the diffuser, and he's being covered directly by users. What happens here? FaZe now are in a situation where they know it's a 2v1 as the bomb is going down. But again, users, he swings himself out, and now what do we see? The complete same trap set up again by BDS that FaZe Clan initially set up, and it's a 2v1. You'll see it here. The swing comes in from Vita King. He loses the swing, but just again, this movement of users here, he's immediately ready on that door, even if that fight was lost. It's amazing from both teams there, and there's so many late round situations. This is just how it is in top level competitive Siege. So we're going to throw you over now to Jackie, and she's going to tell you what's been going on the B stream.
Furia defeats SSG in a nail-biter, going to 3 maps. Right now, I'm with KZ. I cannot imagine how you're feeling. What an amazing victory.
Yeah, it was an amazing victory. The match was more tougher than we thought it was. So we are like feeling very, very great right now to win this match.
And relieved, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It seems super stressful.
Yeah, it was really stressful. These guys are crazy playing. Inside the game is other things than watching, so it was like very stressful.
Talk to me about map 3. You guys came back, and then also that last round. What were you telling yourself? How were you staying in a good mental game?
Like on 7-7, I know they were trying to kill me on the brown we call it. So I like breathe a lot to be calm, to not to. I know my teammates will help me, so they did it. So I'm very, very happy for them to help me.
You knew they had your back.
Yeah, I trust them.
Okay, so BDS or FaZe, who do you want to play?
Can be anyone. I don't like to choose the opponent, so I just want to focus on the next match. Whoever comes, it's okay.
Okay, you're ready for anybody then.
Yeah, sure.
Looking ahead, are you feeling confident or are you a little shaken up?
No, very confident. So we're going to like rest and focus to the next match.
Okay, great. Anything that you want to say to the fans at home?
Can me português?
Sure.
Ok. Valeu, rapaziada, que tá torcendo aí pela gente. Cara, foi um jogo muito difícil. Talvez aí assistindo, talvez não tenha sido, mas, cara, ali dentro do jogo tava muito difícil. Os caras estavam jogando uma ranked às vezes, tipo assim, muito difícil mesmo. Eu só queria agradecer a torcida geral, é importante vocês estarem torcendo pela gente. E, como sempre, a gente vai estar dando o nosso máximo, podem ter certeza disso. E a gente vai buscar aí esse título para o Brasil. É nóis. Obrigado pela torcida.
Casey, enjoy that win. Thank you so much for the great interview. We're going to send it to a short break. We'll be back in a little bit.
New adventures bring new challenges. Even as the heat rises, dandruff and grease won't stand a chance. With new Clear Men, powered by triple formula technology. To eliminate dandruff, itch, and grease, gives you 8 hours of freshness and 100% dandruff-free hair. New Clear Men, 0% dandruff, 100% confidence.
لحظات البداية عاشت معنا. كنا نحسبها وقت للتسلية بس. نحسبها بس ذكريات.
عبود أعطي أختك اليد يا ولد.
ابتكرنا فيها ابتكارات، وإذا بغينا قلبناها خرافات. كنا نحسبها بس لمة وصحبة وسهرات.
انتبه نوب ترى نوب.
لكن كنا نشوف عالم ما حد يشوفه.
ليت يشغل وقته بشيء يفيده.
الله عليك على اليد سود.
عالم كبر وعاش فينا. عالم الحماس فيه يوصلك كل مرة لحلم أصعب، بس ما يصعب عليك. بارد معك وين ما تروح.
Since me and users joined BDS, it's been really good because we didn't have a really good time by the organization, M&M. There was like some big issues happening. Obviously, we were like teammates, it was still good, everything, but the organization was, everything was going bad. So since we joined BDS, everything is going great, no problem. Teammates are really good, the organization is really good, everything is covered up, so it's been going really well. The pressure, it's not really like a big pressure on us because obviously like before us as well, they've been always making to the big tournaments, winning and stuff like this, so it's every tournament, like when you play more and more, you just forget about the pressure and just play your own game. Like, if you get the pressure, you're not going to win anyway, so. Obviously, we became second on the Manchester. We did some like big mistakes on the final, which people didn't expect, but same as us, we didn't expect either. But obviously, it's been like 2 months. We've been working on to fix our mistakes and win the tournament, so hopefully we fix our mistakes and we're going to win it. People actually think they didn't speak English really well because obviously they were like a French team for a long time, not like an English-speaking team. But they're also speaking English really well. Like people think they don't speak much because not so many interviews they do and stuff, but their English is actually pretty good. So when it comes to like clutch situations, not even on the BDS, like the whole game and the players, it has to be Brady. I don't think anyone comes close.
So FaZe Clan have taken the opening map for what is our final quarterfinal that we've got remaining on the schedule. And again, confirmation from the B stream, Furia has taken down SSG, which does now mean if BDS cannot win in this series, if they can't win the next 2 maps, it will be 4 Brazilian teams out of 4, and the dominance for that region continuing on for Siege.
Whew. Means every other region's got to step it up.
Yep.
Potentially. But still some legs, potentially, in this best of 3 BDS. Now need to fight their way back. Bank, map number 2. It is, though, the pick of FaZe. We're speaking to Fresh in the green room, and he doesn't seem all that confident that BDS will be able to get this result across the line and push the 3rd map, but let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as well, right? So firstly, the map pick here of Bank is FaZe. So Labs was picked by BDS, they've lost it out. I still feel like, even though the confidence isn't there for BDS and the results on Bank, maybe as of recent, haven't been amazing, it's going to be the attacking half that I'm very curious on for them, because I feel like it's the kind of map where, you know, what we were seeing a little bit on Labs, right, with users and Shaiko, the way they were kind of moving around the map and getting some kills, maybe Bank could help facilitate that a little bit better for BDS. They are starting defense first, though, which does open the pathway for FaZe to, like Labs, maybe get off to a really good start.
Yeah, potentially. Bank can certainly be that map where you steamroll momentum. Again, links back often, as is often the case on any map, really, in terms of the operator bans that we do see play out and the opportunities that that then creates, or others that it can take away. BDS as well, we'll see what kind of rotation they want to play defensively, how popular top floor is going to end up being, is open area going to be early on in the agenda on that rotation. Basement, do we see big roams from BDS? Are they going to look to lock down site? I mean, there's so many different options here on Bank, and I think that's why it is such a, you know, loved map.
Yeah, and obviously, Guz, just for you as well, a bit of trivia, you do realize who the winner of this series now goes on to play, right?
Hit me.
Furia.
Oof.
You do know what FaZe Furia would be.
That would be a rematch of SI.
It would be. For the semi-final. Of course, Liquid and W7M, the other semi-final matchup that we'll be playing tomorrow. So it's just a question of whether or not it will be an all-Brazilian bonanza. As we're getting towards the end of EWC, not too long until we can get into this map of Bank. Certainly for FaZe, you know, when we kind of look at Handy here, it's so incredible on Labs. Can you back it up? Is it the Handy show? Is it just the FaZe show? But Handy played really well, but they don't really need him to pop off and get 13 plus. It's a combination of both.
Potentially, right? There were multiple rounds back, even Labs, where he was put in very high pressure situations, isolated on rotations, etc., having to really step up, being fully droned under information, etc. And he was still stepping up, playing his part, winning his 1 or his 2 in a multitude of different rounds that were the difference makers ultimately in the end. Can he be that big clutch factor for FaZe here on Bank? Potentially. Will it even be needed? Who knows? FaZe may well be able to steamroll this particular series if BDS don't play their best form of Bank.
Yeah, just sort of letting everyone know that at the moment, no ETAs to getting into this game, but we can get maybe an exclusive version of the Jake and Guys podcast here as we get into this one. There's a lot still to talk about because, you know, for FaZe Clan, when we kind of think about them as a team, it's always a case of close but no cigar. You think about a lot of 2023, all of the semi-finals throughout the majors, the grand final itself, in which they had a 6-1 lead in the final map. They would have felt like they should have walked away as the SI winners. They did not. And then you kind of look at the Manchester major as well, losing to eventual winners Beast Coast. So kind of, again, falling short. That just seems to be the motto of FaZe in Siege, is falling short. They got themselves a 1-map lead here against a very strong BDS team. In fact, I would argue if you would have done a power rankings with everyone having an opinion on it, BDS would have been number 1 coming into the event.
They were the only team I had in S tier, and I'm likely going to have egg on my face depending on how the rest of the bracket progresses, assuming BDS do fall here. That would certainly be an incorrect assertion. They could go on to win, take down Furia, which would be a massive result heading into the grand final. I think with that kind of momentum, they likely go in as favorites maybe, but yeah, there's still a long way to go before we even really begin that discussion, obviously. BDS as well falling to Beast Coast in the grand final at Manchester,
yeah.
So they'll want revenge for that as well.
Yeah, intriguingly enough, as you mentioned, the fact that both of these two teams having their Manchester run ended by Beast Coast.
And they're not even at this event.
Yeah, that's even more funnily enough. So as we did kind of look towards the bracket, and we kind of just want to speculate a little bit now, because I'm very more so curious, as I don't believe we're going to be covering Liquid W7M. How do you see that game going tomorrow? As a confirmed matchup?
Well, I mean, look, so far, W7M best of 3 format, looking really, really good. Absolutely demolishing Bleed 7-3, 7-1. Is that necessarily going to be the same caliber as Liquid? Well, probably not in terms of like for like. So I'm expecting that to be a very, very closely contested series. Liquid looked good against Dark Zero, who I probably pitched as being the team to beat in that particular series, but unfortunately they lost. No more North America now in the bracket. And so I think either way, that is going to be an absolute barnstormer to kick off proceedings tomorrow. If I had to pick a team, probably just Liquid.
Really?
I think.
I'm going to agree with you with that. I think when you kind of look at the opponent in Dark Zero as well, a very formidable opponent, being able to get over the line in that series, in that matchup. You know, no disrespect to Bleed, but I think for W7M, that's probably one of the maybe, actually would be the easiest matchup when you kind of look at the quarterfinals holistically, right? So BDS, FaZe, very strong. Furia, SSG got pushed all the way to quite literally the limit itself, and DZ Liquid certainly was a banging matchup. So it's been a really good quarterfinals today, of course, semifinals tomorrow, and the only result still left waiting is indeed this one between BDS and FaZe. You kind of already touched on it there, but W7M Bleed was the only one that was actually a 2-0. Fury, SSG 2-1, Liquid, DZ 2-1. Does this match go 2-0 or 2-1?
I think so.
Think so what? Which one? 2-0 or 2-1?
I think it will be a 2-0, yeah. I mean, look, FaZe have already done quote-unquote the hard work so far, taking out BDS on their map pick, and did so in a relatively confident fashion and constricted them nicely back on labs. Bank, I just don't think there's enough positive indicators towards the column of BDS, unless there's a world in which they've baited FaZe in with some really good counter prep heading into the map. There is that possibility, but there's also execution that's critical, and FaZe will adapt to whatever BDS bring anyway.
I think it's probably going to come down to whoever starts better here on Bank. Because if BDS can start well defensively, get a bit of that snowball momentum, I think Bank's certainly a map that can facilitate a lot of those attacking rounds. That might just then also circumnavigate a potential loss of morale after losing the opening map for what was their map pick, right? So you start well, you go, okay, we're back into this one, right? If FaZe start well, and they get like 3-4 attacking rounds, and you know what it feels like when you're losing on the defense and you just can't string together any kind of defensive stops. Yeah, the morale starts to continue to dip down even after losing that opening map. So yeah, I'll be very curious to see. I think really whoever starts well here on Bank is probably going to be the one that eventually finishes well as well. So BDS again defending first up. We'll see what that's going to work for them. But what about the last map if we do get to it, Skyscraper? When you think about that too, slow pace. Doesn't that just fit FaZe as well? So BDS are really in a bit of a hole here after losing their opening map pick.
I mean, if we're sitting here in a couple of hours and praising a BDS comeback, I think it would be by far and away the best, most impressive performance that we have seen at the event thus far, and probably unexpected.
Yep.
So is it possible? 100%. BDS have the caliber, they have the skill, they have the experience, the determination. Can they actually connect those dots inside of the server over the course of those next few hours? Well, there's only one way to find out.
I have been told that the game should be starting hopefully within the minute. Fingers crossed. I hope I haven't jinxed it, but shouldn't be too far away from being able to get into this one. FaZe looking to make this a 2-0, get this series done and dusted, and book their place into the semi-final. If they do that, they basically double their prize pool as well with this series win.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of prize money on the line, and also club championship on the line as well. FaZe certainly in contention for finishing up in the higher portions of the standings. But the band FaZe is now upon us, and we can jump into the action.
Yep. Yeah, BDS defending first up and banning first up, and it's the Ash first up.
Look at Handy's reaction. It's like, second on the right, he was like, huh? Okay.
What are they cooking?
I've been very intrigued to see what BDS's second ban is. The Monty to follow, far more traditional.
That is the first Ash ban at the tournament so far.
Rip Ashmans.
So what FaZe are going to bring? It's the Kaid, heavily used by BDS over on Night Haven Labs. And I honestly like the Montaigne Bang. I know that we're seeing it quite extensively throughout the tournament as BDS do get rid of Valkyrie. That one's certainly not going to raise any eyebrows for Handy. But it's probably the kind of operator, if BDS is struggling, you might look to and be like, can we just go shield up, help us out a little bit? Either way, we head to Bang. Second map of this quarterfinal. A bit of a stall, so a bit of a longer break. Don't know who that would potentially benefit. Maybe neither team. Still, as we head into this one, FaZe 1-0 up. Looking to carry the momentum. That would evidently be a little bit soft reset, right, from that opening map now into Bank. But yeah, we shall see. Again, I'm standing strong on this. I think whoever starts well here probably takes the map. Oh, that's a banger of a song.
Well, let's hope it's a banger of a map. Onus on BDS, though, to put their best foot forward and get themselves back into this particular series. Round one, we go BDS defending basement to kick things off with hatches open and rotates. Also abundant. It will be a fall-off room to kick things off here.
Yeah, and I'm genuinely curious to see, though, how extensive the fall-off's going to be. If it's really quick, how easy can FaZe just kind of push them back down. You know, we see teams at times get the slightest bit of contact, and then they just drop immediately in the hatches and go straight back down to basement. I would like to see BDS be aggressive early, though, on defense. Don't just go down, you know, lock a CCTV. It's very easy to just try and get fire players back down there, hold one over towards blue, maybe a little bit towards bot main. I saw yesterday in the series that we actually had FaZe play on this map, don't forget, against ITB. A lot of those lurk pushes in towards things like Archives, for example, top square. We saw a bit of a lurk hold up there, if you remember, then the peek down double kill. So you can do some intriguing things on Bank. Certainly plays out in a really fun manner. Cyber, speaking of top square, has made his way in towards that position, uses in towards blue. Nothing in towards garage.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Quad roam at the moment then from BDS. KDS to kick things off, dropping down the main skylight. But again, goes back to the question, how long do BDS hold on? Long line of sight from Handy. And that's probably an answer to our question. BDS not falling off too quickly here.
Yeah, I like that. Users has got to have the discipline to not swing, though, from blue. You just got to hold that angle. Even if you hear shots elsewhere, you feel like maybe you could catch someone off guard. Just hold. 90 seconds left. This is decent from BDS. You know, forcing FaZe to clear, forcing them to push them out, as you kind of alluded to. Also not dropping too soon, but they have certainly done so now. All 5 players for BDS inside a basement, but not quite all the way in. Bot main for Liquefac, and he's holding the close angle. There was a potential chance to swing into that, but the shots just kept coming, and he didn't want to push into those shots. Deepest pressure from KDS, and then Liquefac did go for the peak. And KDS just a bit better. 30 HP, though, not a lot, but the opening kill for FaZe has come through.
Gives them that man advantage now to trade out for the late round. Goyo canisters being dealt with in towards side, and 4 Candela still up for Handy for this execute. Shots rain out. Cyber eager for a second, but the swing from Red and Users just gives his team a lifeline.
Not a lot of time remaining for FaZe. 30 seconds left in the round. Over towards Server with the kit for Souls. So default will be the plan. Only one gas babe remaining from Brede, but that might be all that is required. Candela's to go out from Handy. There is that final gas babe now that has been expended. 15 seconds, then the drop from Handy. Successful in towards CCTV. The EDD, though, not ideal for Vidiking as he loses his life seemingly out of nowhere. No real time. Soul sticking the plank. KDS still up above inside admin. C4, successful. And a successful defense from BDS to kickstart Bank.
Good work in the mid-round for BDS. Didn't fall off all too quickly, but equally didn't give away much for free. Defense weakened over towards main stairs, but FaZe still struggling to capitalize upon that, putting the groundwork for a default plant. Still, though, the utility from the defense enough to just make that a challenge. And then the follow-up from FaZe, just not particularly great. Handy didn't find much with the LMG. The hold through red from the likes of users. Lurking near gold was great. No one allowed to go deep from FaZe to unlock that defensive stronghold. And the Nitro really just the cherry on top for what was a good opening round from BDS.
Yeah, very basic from FaZe, though. Get a bit of admin control through server. Not much else. They didn't really have much else happening. Yeah, the drop down into CCTV almost offered maybe an avenue, but by that point, too late. Needed a dekill, really just compounding a bit of an average round from FaZe, but a really strong start for BDS. Bank's certainly one of those maps in which you can find success on both sides, defense and offense. And yeah, the good start for BDS, as I said, it's a really good way of just kind of resetting that morale after losing your opening map pick. You start well, you can kind of just maybe calm any kind of nerves. You're facing elimination, essentially, right? So it's very easy to get nervous if you do lose a couple of these rounds early on to FaZe.
On the mirror in play, then, can be largely influential here on Bank. Janitor probably the best example of that in locking down positions inside of CEO. Can they be vulnerable to Vert from down below? And that may be the counterplay on offer here from Cyber. On the Deimos, can Deathmark that position and clear it. Maybe also find a kill for his efforts as well. We'll wait and see if that's the play, though. Won't be contested down below, and so he will likely find value. Leak Fact finds value of his own, though. That's KDS in the grave.
It's interesting as well, that was the player in which got deathmarked and forced out of main. Goes over towards CEO and finds a kill onto KDS, so that doesn't really work out in FaZe's favor, in which the player you've pinged out, forced to move, then moves into a position to find a kill. Pinged out again, targeted by Cyber. He's trying to abuse him from below. Shaiko able to double down the advantage now for BDS with the kill onto Handy. That one coming in from second floor hallway and on the rappel now for Vidiking. All over the place now for FaZe. This has honestly been a quite lackluster start on Bank. These attacks have not been really all that clean in sync. It feels like I'm watching a bunch of individuals moving around the map. Where's the coordination that we saw on Nighthaven Labs? Got one square, one stock, one outside on the rappel. No one can really play off each other. There's no team element. Nitrocell does successfully connect onto Souls, further compounding the pain of FaZe in this second round. BDS, yeah, they're going to make this 2-0.
Well, if you're a BDS fan, I mean, you really could not have asked for a better start here. FaZe disconnected.
All those shots land on Labs. All those shots land on Labs. And maybe then turns into a second kill to the player in the hallway. They don't, though, here on Bank. Dream start for BDS. 2-0 start on the defense, and it forces out an immediate tactical timeout from FaZe Clan. They do not like what they see. Neither do I, Guz.
Yeah, I respect it. Tactical pause very early on here in the piece. FaZe refocusing after what has been a less than ideal start here on their selection of Bank. Basement was tough, didn't get value on the push deep in towards through the objective. And round 2, top floor,
and
not really pressuring the objective at all.
And that's tertiary as well. I actually think I value probably open and staff a little bit better than we do for top floor. So, I mean, it's all, I guess, team dependent, isn't it? So, the other way, a good time for the timeout. I feel like I've seen enough, and FaZe certainly feel like they've seen enough as well to talk things over, because the opening 2 rounds has only actually net them one singular kill. That's it. These have been very dominant rounds from BDS on the defense, and we will indeed head to first floor stuff and open for this forthcoming third round. But yeah, look at these kills. I mean, these are the kind of kills we didn't really see from BDS on Labs, where they're just able to find these sort of tight pixel angles, get the headshots, and a lot of it also just kind of comes down to when you think about Labs and where FaZe were successful, moving around, getting good map control. They're not doing that here on Bank so far. It's a lot of exterior gameplay. They had a decent push opening round, forced them back down to basement, but they just couldn't push into sight well enough. Staff an open area to come now for the third round, and FaZe yet to get on the board.
First 2 rounds then. A farm for BDS. Will that continue though here into the third off the back of the tactical timeout? Let's see what the conversion is like for FaZe attacking into this tertiary selection, at least for BDS. Castle in play will facilitate the hold up above. No mirror to complement that. Instead though, we'll see the likes of the Mozzie in play, so set and forget utility. Solotov with the license to run around and farm. Also a Nitro cell in hand, and that could be impactful if he's able to lurk on that first floor. And as FaZe look to enter in through the second and establish Vert with the buck in hand, those Nitro cells can prove deadly.
I'm just not a fan of the repel game for FaZe. I think I want to see them get into the map, try and take these fights a little bit more directly with BDS.
Launching drone.
Obviously, you do the due diligence, do what you got to do to begin with, but you can't just sit here.
Well, they've just lost both drones.
Yeah, I mean, that's just poor. Electric Bomb called out early as well from Handy, but who can really play off of this? Soul's in towards stock. This is a little bit better. Okay, that's going to be picking up the pace from FaZe. That's what I'm talking about. One in towards Janitor, if I saw correctly in terms of the blue outlines, although maybe drop down the hatch. We'll see. There's the final shock drone actually coming through now from Vidiking. Yeah, and Janitor has been cleared out.
In fact, the whole top floor now vacated. You can see everybody from BDS now on that first floor. And so as we approach the halfway point of the round, we sort of take stock as to where things are at. FaZe haven't necessarily had to expend a ton of utility, and they still have a decent stock of drones still up as well. And so it's rather even.
Yeah, one logic bomb, your shock drone's gone.
That's good info.
Drone game is okay. Yeah, Pest in the way though, can't get anything more than that, though do spot the Mozzie. 2 Nitro cells available. Solotov not realizing the fact that he has been droned out, still takes the battle anyway, but he might have to fall out of towers sooner rather than later. Continues to take the fight. In fact, Shaiko's made his way over towards the same position. He's actually just kind of walked into the crossfire without even realizing it. 1 for 1. 60 seconds left. The battle towards main is won by Shaiko. Cyber trying to just push down, play off of the information discovered by FaZe, but unsuccessful in doing so. Souls clears out. Right side elevator. He's actually he's misplaying this. He doesn't know that this has already been crossed. He thinks he's on the right side tucked in, but he's actually on the left. Cadella either way, and it forces the swing, and he does see that he's now on said left side. But elsewhere, FaZe are just losing players. Souls, good turnaround. And he does know one is pinched inside of elevator. 30 seconds. You cannot stay here forever. You've got to push this eventually. The flash to come through. A bit of help from KDS, and they do indeed clear out users inside of elevator, but little time remains. No kit available. And Shaiko and Bride can just play sight now, both inside a staff and open area, and through beepers, just trying to barge their way through. Into red time we go. Low health for KDS. Surely a round in which FaZe can no longer win. Indeed, they will not. BDS with a 3-0 statement start on Bank.
Everything going right for BDS on the first rotation, and that's the tactical timeout burnt for FaZe. And so if that momentum continues to compound, getting back into this match will become increasingly more challenging here on Bank. I like what we saw there from BDS. Holding some really nice, clean positions. Good crossfires being established. Good moment there from users. Shaiko, we saw him march across and render support. Him having impact as well. Users, well, he kind of just chilled there for about 30 seconds. I don't know what was going through the minds of FaZe there. That was a really, really strange clear. Took way too long.
They look locked in though defensively to begin. I said as well, you know, pre-match that the team that starts well is going to finish well. have to wait and see the second part of that, but the first part of it has now actually been locked in. BDS starting well, and 3 defensive rounds. So they've gone around the world tour now. They get to go all the way back down to basement. They get to do it all again. FaZe need to wake up, but they've already taken the tactical timeout, so they're aware of the fact they're not playing well here on Bank at all, and they've given BDS an absolute dream start. Back to basement we go. Last time out, yeah, first of all, hold, drop down, play basement. FaZe, especially towards site, struggling. Couldn't get anything to work. No kills could be found. Just spent far too long in the exterior, far too long to then clear, far too long to then push into site.
It's got to be an unnerving time for Rafael as well, coach of FaZe. If there's anything that you don't like, or you see something you don't like for the next 30 minutes or whatever, you literally can't say anything about it. You've already used that tactical.
I think he still used it at the right time, because those first 2 rounds were quite poor. Earlier,
no, totally, but
yeah.
Still doesn't negate the fact that that's a possibility, right? It's all up to FaZe now.
Yes, I thought he was going to maybe go for a bit of a vault over and go quick, but there was a player on a main stairs. Flash in hand, Cyber thinks better of it. Important utility that you need to be mindful of. Not a lot of drones actually remaining now for FaZe. In fact, 3 drones remain. That's it. That's not a lot. With 2 minutes on the clock. It's going to make information very difficult to acquire. 1-for-1, that's fine. If you're BDS, you're not too bothered by that. In fact, you lose your hard breach if you FaZe. And a swing again, although this time Cyber wins it out against Liquefact. Finally, something goes the way of FaZe. BDS can still hold site though, indeed they will. 3 into basement, they've got also the smokes available still. Bride with all 3 in the back pocket. And secondary hard breach available, courtesy of Vidiking.
2 shock drones up and ready for Handy. He can use those to clear Goyo canisters on site, and that will help free up the default plant position. And then it will really be on Bride to juggle his utility and time it correctly and ensure that those smokes land in order to deny that space. Here is Handy, looking to deal with that utility. Got 1 canister, but 1 still stands. I also think that that BPC is also up as well. And there's confirmation. And so that's at least something going the way of BDS.
Still 3 gas babes in the back pocket for Bride. That's a huge win condition. Absolutely massive, and makes it very difficult for FaZe to go for default push in towards server. 2 Candelas remaining for Vidiking. Really need to play off of this utility that remains for FaZe. They're waiting for the garage push from Handy. Don't mind this, he's got to win the battle and he loses it out. So successful on Labs, but struggling a little bit is Handy on Bank 1-4, but as the whole team are, the drop down through the hatch unsuccessful and FaZe capitulate. Despite the numerical advantage that they had in this round, late in this round, they fall short of the mark. BDS too strong on site. Brita didn't even need the gas babes. FaZe didn't even really get into a position to go for a default plant. Nothing default about that at all for FaZe, but for BDS, 4-0 start. They look switched on.
He's gonna hate me for saying this, but maybe there's a reason that Alfama won Analyst of the Year and not Fresh. Because what did Fresh say in the green room? He said that
they're done.
It's over. It's over.
Is it their map pick? And we're like, no, it's FaZe's. Oh, they're done.
I don't know, man. 4-0 up and they're looking good. Looking very, very good at the moment. And FaZe, unfortunately,
how much of it is BDS versus FaZe's ability to attack here on Bank? Certainly does not look as strong as Labs. No. It's been quite lackluster. Not winning their ones, not able to really get good entry positions. They're not able to push BDS back. The tempo is really set by the defense as well. Everything is going BDS's way, but FaZe are also just struggling. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both.
Yeah. Can FaZe fight back? It's tall order at this point of the match. Top floor, they can look to find something here though. We'll wait and see. Mirror in play for Janitor. Castle looking down line of sight, and so Repel game is unlikely to yield a lot in this match. Well, this particular round, rather. We did see the Deimos from FaZe previously, and I thought that that was in an attempt to try and clear that mirror position down below, maybe try and establish more vert pressure. Again, though, limited impact. I mean, impact is unfortunately being lackluster from FaZe at the moment. They're not finding themselves in very many favorable, winnable conditions at the moment. Finding those win conditions has been a real challenge for them.
was looking at some of the statistics as well for Bank, and I will say, FaZe fan, maybe it's not all hope lost. 64% defend decided. These next 2 rounds crucial. Must win though still for FaZe. You cannot be giving up 5 defensive rounds. If they can win the next 2, then it's game back on. But otherwise, BDS certainly have responded in the best fashion after losing their own map pick of Nighthaven Labs. Again, confirmation. This is the map pick of FaZe. They have struggled immensely to attack into the defensive BDS. Cyber in towards Square. Oh, chance. Couldn't quite land the shots for KDS. Nothing is going the way of FaZe.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been
Cyber
dropped.
down below.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
At the 417, that DMR can suddenly pack a punch. Information now being gathered by Vidiking in towards site, calling out that configuration with rotations, the castle barricade, the mirror window as well, facing in towards site. All key factors that need to be considered here by FaZe. Stock not being directly pressured outside of Cyber top square. He's eager to try and find that pick. But Shaiko's not going to give that away easily.
Just all around the map, right? Handy playing by himself. So if Handy gets into a fight, no trade potential. Same as well towards Square with Cyber, then 2 on the Repel. We do have Souls though, looking to just push in, maybe go for a bit of a slip push, and does have the kit. Doesn't go for the plant. He's got very deep here. They did lose KDS, now he's going to go for it behind the bomb chassis. Will there be a response though from BDS? Are they even aware this plant has gone down? No Nitrosol to come through. Now the Repel can also get aggressive with these angles they've opened up towards Square for Cyber. 2 left though, only up for FaZe, so it's not exactly unwinnable for BDS, even though typically on this side it can be very difficult to retake. They do get a very intriguing angle. The jump out is successful. Solotov with a quick double. 5-0 BDS. And even with the plant down in towards CEO, FaZe still can't get the round win. Nothing working out for them on Bank.
It's not every day of the week you see a successful retake Bank top floor. That is quite rare. I really did feel as if once that plant went down, Brede unable to find the Nitro denial, it was probably going to be over. But some really nice shots being taken, great timing, Solotov there confirming it.
Oh.
And I think BDS are living a bit rent-free in the minds of FaZe at the moment, despite trailing in this series. They are making a statement.
There. I mean, I'm not a lip reader, but definitely some fighting words.
Well, I don't speak. Maybe it could have been in French as well, and I definitely don't speak French.
I definitely don't speak French. Although they do speaking English now.
In-game, yeah.
5-0 for BDS. Talk about a perfect response, though, because, I mean, to me, Labs, it's not as if I felt like they were bad. I thought it was a decent little map. I thought it got all the way to 7-5, right? So it's not as if BDS were embarrassed. Sure, FaZe got off to a good start, but a large portion of that was because they started on defense. And Labs defense, yeah, we know what that's like. So
5 seconds remaining.
this is actually the most dominant, I feel like, of the 2 teams that we've seen in the series by far and away.
Yep. FaZe just haven't been able to wrangle much in this matchup. A lot of the 50-50s going the way of BDS.
Posted as well before, I said, is it a lot of it down to Handy, 1 and 5. He can't get anything going here after an incredible performance on Labs. It's not just him, even Souls. Souls was kind of his right-hand man as well on Labs. He's 1-5, Vidiking's 1-5, Cyber's 2-5, KDS 2-3, all going negative. No one on FaZe is having a good game.
And Chaco's back online, and that's always scary. Always has been.
I saw a post on Reddit. Apparently he was washed after the first map. So is he unwashed?
I don't know.
Information found with the shock drone from Vidiking, but he does lose that again. More utility being lost early for FaZe. Only 1 shock drone remaining. Still 2 logic bombs though, and a slip in towards Garage for Handy. 5-0.
Sol's cooking with Candelas. He'll enter stock, take that ground. 2 keeper barriers in his way. Shaiko eager to peek. Nitro from down below, but the desk position to play coverage. Shaiko still good for 1 though. Nitro lands. And BDS surely for a flawless half.
Did not need to do that. That was a heat check from Solotov. The Nitro Soul from deep, from downtown. Don't need that vault out. Definitely did not do. Definitely did not need to do that. 3 versus 2. Okay, so we have a very intriguing 30 seconds. BDS, though, feels like they are certainly hot right now. But it does slow down. KDS and Vidiking, final two remaining for FaZe. Not really playing off each other at the moment. Certainly don't have the kit. Time is certainly still a friend and ally for FaZe. Vidiking and KDS to work things out as to how they can maybe win it from here. Liquefac is also only on 40 HP. Kit in towards stock. May as well maybe go grab that one, but leave it there.
Well, they didn't collect it, so something to note, if they do find a couple of picks here, planting is not a win condition, at least at the moment, unless KDS rotates for it in a moment.
It's going to have to. KDS is going to have to be the one to go and get that kit. 30 seconds. Vidiking, can he find a way to get a pick? Make it a 2v2. Near the hatch, which is open, can drop down. So maybe that's going to be the play for KDS. Continue to play stock. Find that vert. Can you find an angle? Diffuser has been recovered. He's going to go for the drop down, but it's never an easy one. Unfortunately, Vidiking has not been able to find anyone. He's going to have to just push through. He's going to have to push through something. He needs to be the one. Unfortunately, the drop down for KDS. Well, he's spotted on the drop. Vidiking does find a kill. Not a lot of time remaining. Going to have to stick this plant. There's one up above. Love the rotate as well. That was from Liquefac, by the way. Round over because of it. There's nothing you could do at that point. Yeah, BDS have made very quick work of FaZe here on bank. 6-0. That's the half done, and that could be the map done as well. One to go, potentially, for BDS.
Yeah, they look really reassured, and I think users playing that position perfectly, not stressing. Despite the drop from the hatch coming through, BDS did not panic. Played time, rotation was available as well, even if users was to fall. So that round never really looking like it was going to go the way of FaZe. On the flip side, look quite deflated at the moment. Perhaps sensing, much like us, that this map is over in a third. Is very much brewing.
It's just not the kind of map that you see 6-0 comebacks on, is it?
No.
It really isn't. It's not a Labs. It's not even a skyscraper, of which we, I think, are heading to. Tremendous performance from BDS thus far, though, on bank. It's been, well, flawless, literally. Literally flawless. They just need the one attacking round. That's all that is required for them to send us to a third and decisive map. Boy, that's going to be an intriguing one. Skyscraper to follow. BDS haven't played it so far at the tournament. Obviously saw FaZe beat ITB on it yesterday.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
But the bad news for FaZe, though, is this has been such a beatdown, whereas Labs were certainly competitive from both teams. BDS are going to take all the momentum into that third map. This one not done yet, but yeah, FaZe are going to have to be quite literally perfect for 6 rounds straight. And that's just going to be a very tall order, you would imagine. Pretty standard hold for FaZe down into the basement. I'll play off of the smoke to deny the plant. Mirror also in play. Triple stack first floor up above. Death Mark, it's KDS though, that does get the opening kill onto Liquefac. Good start for FaZe. They can drop off that, and this is where you can play his basement. If you do get that opening kill, don't have to get too aggressive up above. And immediately, as soon as they got that kill, it was a triple drop for FaZe back to basement.
No Goyo in play from FaZe. They'll be heavily relying on Souls on the smoke to stall out space at the default plant. FaZe are mirror tricking the wall. That's to make opening up said route to the default plant more challenging, and Solitov has now spotted that and will relay it to the rest of the team. Eager to open up the window inside of red and nails it perfectly. Cyber unable to block that shot, and that just weakens that red hold a little more. Even with that mirror trick in play, with Habana available, users should be able to come across and open up that default plant position. And again, it goes back to the discussion before. Souls on the smoke needs to try and balance this utility cleanly. Opening up the wall proving to be a little bit of a challenge. BD actually comes alongside to help. Wall opened up, and now they can look to draw out utility.
Oh, what a shot from Solitov. KDS went for the peak, didn't really need to. Certainly not at that point in the round. Gas waves will start to flow from Souls. He's thrown one out already, 2 remaining in towards Hadman through the hat.
Oh, he missed
Psycho. One more gas babe in the back pocket. Death mark out as well now onto the Warden of Cyber to find out his location. Does have a Nitrocell 1 as well. 2 still with Vidiking. Tricking angle here for users. BDS are just making this work. Love the angle for users. Still a couple of Nitrocells that need to be navigated. 1 remaining. No gas babes. Brede just trying to get himself in to a position where he can stick this plant as close as possible. Users can cover. Nitrocell shot out successfully. That would have blown him up. Brede would have been dead to rights. Instead, though, the shots land not just onto the Nitrocell, but onto the players as well. And potential perfection for BDS now. Certainly possible. Vidiking wanted to get brought back up, and he could, and it's all done. 7-0 BDS. Statement made on Bank, and a 3rd map is required in this quarterfinal matchup.
All smiles for BDS, and why wouldn't they be happy after that map? 7 rounds back to back. They looked really clean, and FaZe left shell-shocked there on a map where they went in as the favorites. But now Skyscraper on the other side.
You know what's one of my favorite stats here is not a single player on BDS has got double-digit kills. So very team-centric performance from BDS. And I think anytime you see a team go flawless 7-0, it typically is a team-centric performance across the board. Defense, attack, didn't really matter. They were just far and away better. I'm staggered that that was a map pick of FaZe.
Staggered. I think that's putting it lightly, Jake.
Alrighty, well, we got another map, of course, and it's we're going to go to the studio, though, before we do get to it.
You're right. That is the map pick of FaZe, even though it didn't actually look like it at all whatsoever, in no way, shape, or form, because we got a 7-0 on our hands from the side of BDS.
I think that's one of the very first, if not the very first 7-0 that we've had so far at the Esports World Cup. Very dominant from BDS. What a way to deliver your opponent's map pick as well. I think we voiced a few concerns we had going into Bank, considering both these teams were flawless. FaZe now no longer flawless on this map, but the teams that BDS had beaten on this map were a lot less good than the teams that, for example, FaZe had beaten on this map. Starting on their defense, I think it looked very good. My little concern I had was going into attack for BDS, considering that the game they played against Cruelty was also good on defense, but a bit more struggles on attack. However, this time around, there were some really good moments from these BDS players, stepping up individually better than they did on Nighthaven, in my opinion. That post-plan recovery, I think it was round 5 as well, also a very good play.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy one, especially like a 7-0 on a map that you're 6 unbeaten on as well, and it's crazy. Yeah. The teams that they played against to be unbeaten as well. And not just that, they started on the defensive side of Bank BDS. Bank at the Manchester Major was, I think, possibly the most attacker-sided map across the whole event. So for that to happen and to start on defend is like, that's crazy. And that's now back-to-back days we've seen FaZe get 7-1 and then get 7-0'd. Not only get 7-0'd, but starting on the good side and it also being your choice. I don't know.
But if history repeats itself, they can crawl back from this, rise from the ashes, like whatever, however you want to say it. FaZe has dealt with similar situations, they have dealt with disappointment, and they were able to crawl back from it. But it was really BDS this time around that after that first map that they lost, which was the first loss for them as well in the entirety of EWC, they cranked up the heat as well.
Yeah, and for me, it's just crazy seeing just how much difference a map really can make. Because not only was this a 7-0, but there wasn't really that many close rounds either. I feel like on Nighthaven, there's an argument to be made that that could have gone either way. There was a lot of late round clutches. I mean, we've seen Handy's amazing 1v3 round 1, right? That kind of could have gone either way. But with this, BDS looked in control of everything. I mean, you're watching the highlights right now. There's players dropping, you know, almost a 4 or 5 KD, and they're making it look easier.
Yeah, but also something that I guess we don't really get to see all too often is Shaiko becoming a vocal player all of a sudden, getting half out of his chair, shouting towards the enemy team. That's not something that I'm used to seeing from him, and if that's the kind of energy they're bringing into this third map as well, that could mean something very good for BDS.
Hey, it's all about mind games, and mind games, they're coming out on top, 7-0 from the side of BDS on Bank, which wasn't even their own map pick, but again, to highlight, they have had a phenomenal streak on it so far, and they get to be the team that clings on to the undefeated trophy for a little longer, just on Bank, though.
Yeah, just on bank for now.
For now.
I mean,
You never know.
They'll still remember map 1 a little bit, but I think that will help sort of wash it away a bit. I mean, Skyscraper up next though, and we saw FaZe Clan yesterday on Skyscraper look very good. Historically, an amazing Skyscraper team. They've played this at, in the finals of major events, right? And won it. So it's going to be tough for BDS regardless. Like, map 3, we won't see the same. If we do see a 7-0, again, I'm sorry, BDS. Like, you're just really good. Sunny Shaiko and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it being like that again.
Oh, we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not gonna be disappointed if we see 7-0, but would I like a little bit more of a back and forth between these teams? Absolutely. But we have Skyscraper coming up next, so make sure you stick around because we're gonna be back after the break.
Well, Skyscraper is required to separate these two behemoths as the quarterfinal matchup, final one of the day, will go the distance after a 7-0 stomping from BDS against FaZe. FaZe are going to need a response, a swift one at that. I feel vindicated though, guys. I did say whoever would start well would finish well. Technically right.
Well, better than well. Flawlessly, really. FaZe not really getting any in at all throughout the match. I mean, even the rounds in isolation are rather dominant. To the side of BDS, how much of that form and momentum, though, can they carry in towards Skyscraper? A formidable map for FaZe.
Yep. I mean, look, honestly, right now, to be genuine 50-50, really difficult to actually grasp who's going to take this map. Because you can make arguments for both of them, certainly so. I think you can make very valid arguments for both of them. I think that when you kind of look at what we just saw from FaZe, can they replicate the dominance that we saw from Bank, bring that over to Skyscraper? Hard to say. We don't know for certain. Maybe, yes, maybe no. For FaZe, though, it's all about the response. And it has to be a swift response as well. They will be attacking first on Skyscraper, and that might make that difficult. When I say you want a swift response, and you want to respond to a 7-0 beatdown, and you've got to attack into Skyscraper, hard to do that. That means BDS can get some rounds on the board early.
I mean, yeah, trial by fire for sure. FaZe are really going to have to step up their game. Hopefully they've been able to take a good rest and mentally reset heading into this third and final map of the best of 3. If they win this, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, it will just be the 4 Brazilian teams remaining in the semis.
And if they lose this, it would be their second tournament in a row where they can't make top 4.
And they may well be losing to the eventual champions, provided BDS continue their run as well.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and it would set up a fascinating matchup as well tomorrow. BDS versus Furia. Be kind of just doubling down for BDS. They'll be the, of course, only team that's non-Brazilian progressing forward if they can win it. So fascinating way to close it out. It's been a great day for the quarterfinals. All of the matches, probably bar the bleed one, have actually been quite close, quite intense. Even Dark Zero able to get a map earlier today for North America, but ultimately falling short. Same as well said for SSG, falling very, very short, agonizingly close. But yeah, for FaZe Clan, for BDS, both teams will have had the aspirations to make top 4, and falling short of that is a failure in my eyes. BDS should be, the favorites for this tournament. They should be looking to make grand final. FaZe, again, grand finals are what they're made for. Semi-finals have been on the reg outside of Manchester. So really, there is no honorary loss here for either of these two teams, of which you could maybe make for an SSG, potentially even a Dark Zero, and certainly for a Bleed. For either of these two, absolutely not. This is not a pass mark by just making the quarterfinals.
No, and that's why it's really a case of which team can rise to the mark, with the pressure beginning to build. Last map, clearly some cracks beginning to show for FaZe and unable to recoup any momentum on that particular map. And as we've already mentioned, now attacking into Skyscraper. Sure, we could preface that it's a great map for FaZe, and that certainly stands the test, especially defensively, but they need to lay down the groundwork to give themselves that buffer heading into the second half.
Somewhat similar as well prior to Bank, where we're just taking a little while to get into the map itself. I said actually at the time, I remember back saying, I don't know who that would actually benefit. If anyone, maybe it ended up benefiting BDS, maybe. Hard to say. I certainly wouldn't put too much stock. I think that the kind of team that wouldn't really be too phased by just having to sit around. Also more time to kind of just talk about things. And for FaZe, well, that actually is the case for them, where they do get the time to kind of just talk things out. And you kind of said it before as well, for them having taken their tactical timeout second round in on Bank, they had to sit through for a long time before they could really eventually with their coach talk things over. They've been able to do that now. They go to Skyscraper. It's all about the response for them.
FaZe is key on full display. Of course, if you may be just tuning into EWC for the first time, You get to crush your opponent's key, quite literally, with a press, if you are able to win the match. I wonder if this is a match where, if they do eventually go on to win, are they going to put the key in the trophy? Is this a matchup where you would give it that much credence, given that they are potentially vying for the trophy at the end of the day?
Yeah. I mean, certainly when you kind of talk about the team's caliber, that would be up there for either or. That's a good point. We'll see. Obviously, right now, something to get through is this map, which we are now getting into Skyscraper. Very quickly, final prediction before we see anything of Skyscraper. Who you got?
Well, I said BDS heading into this tournament should be considered a favorite, the favorite. So I'll stand by them and should be winning this one out, but expecting FaZe, especially defensively, to put up a one hell of a fight. So BDS just maybe give an OT.
I'm going to just go to BDS as well. I felt like that was an incredibly dominant bank, and while FaZe were good on labs, they weren't as dominant. We'll see what can happen here on Skyscraper, though. BDS beginning on defense, FaZe will attack, and as has been, well, variably in most of the matches at this tournament, Montang taken off the board.
So the follow-up is then from FaZe, and they will double down with the Blitz. Now, I can't say how many matches throughout the tournament so far have seen both taken off the board. We had one yesterday, ITB FaZe, where both were taken out. And so that will reoccur here in EWC. Tuberel to follow up, just to alleviate some of the pressure felt in terms of opening up Heart Breach. And now BDS with the final defensive ban before we can jump into the action, and it will be the Valkyrie.
Almost an exact replica of what we saw from FaZe and ITB yesterday. Blitz, Tuberel, Montang ban. The only difference, the Valkyrie versus the Kaid.
Okay then. Let's prepare ourselves to jump into the action then. BDS defending, of course. And it looks like Karaoke will be their first sight. Very eager to carry across their momentum from Bank. 7 rounds in a row. Do not see that every day of the week, especially in a matchup
not
as
this
even
level.
as this.
Yeah, not at this level, not against that kind of level of opponent as well in FaZe, and on a map like Bank as well, where there's certainly plenty of avenues for the attacking team to find rounds, but FaZe just could not get anything to work. They're going to have the test as well here on Skyscraper to attack on a map, which at times can be very difficult to attack. So if they can find like an early attacking round, whether it's round 1, 2, or 3, that's certainly going to relieve a little bit of pressure, and certainly the mental pressure as well after losing at 7-0. But these guys are professionals. It's all about just forgetting that previous map. Both teams probably need to do that, right? Like for BDS, you can't ride that high too much coming into this final map. Forget about Bank as much as you would forget about Labs. Basically comes down to a best of one now for these two teams. BDS on the defense first, T-Room and Karaoke to begin. FaZe, as much as they need to forget about it, we certainly don't. We need to see a response from them swiftly.
Yeah, looking like a map clear approach here from FaZe as expected. That will be facilitated by the double hard breach Thatcher combo to help open up lines of sight through single and double walls respectively for the top floor clear. How eager will BDS be to defend this side of the map? Sometimes we'll see defenders lock it down, play for their life. Others will elect to rotate. That can pose problems though with Terrace and throwing cross. Once FaZe position themselves there. And so for me, this is a really pivotal point in the round, and we're only a minute in.
Oh, a little bit aggressive. Yeah, Souls might have to just fall back momentarily, maybe expecting a bit of a push here from BDS. Look at Fact just holding towards Exhibition, and Solomkov kept peeking in through Terrace, taking this fight with Souls. He comes off worse though, despite being the aggressor in the fight, but eventually the swing from Souls, which was not required, doesn't go his way, courtesy of Shaiko, but Handy, Cyber, they give the advantage to the FaZe. Certainly a better start than what we saw from anything on Bank for FaZe, although they retake the advantage. 3 versus 2 with that kill onto Solotov, putting him out of his misery and down to Brede and Users.
Yeah, Sol's really the linchpin in that position. It was reliant on his team helping support that position and trade it out, and that's exactly what they were able to do. So a hard-fought man advantage now with the map clear now executed upon. So Brede and Users both towards the objective respectively. Brede looking down The drum doorway, users focused for the thrown entry in towards T. And FaZe, the game plan from here is just a clear, concise trade out. But easier said than done. BDS, one of the best anchor players in the game, and users can certainly have his moments as well.
Handy through drum. Has the diffuser, 30 seconds. Gaspe pushes him away towards the mezzanine. Inside a T room for users. Or did he spot the head close by? Oh, he could almost get to both. They lined up momentarily. And Vidiking is down, and suddenly the Cyber is soloed. And he loses out. Users too good with a shotgun. Really well played defensively from BDS. Somewhat shades of what we saw from them actually all the way back in Nighthaven Labs. When you think about those like 5v2 rounds in which FaZe capitulated, while not quite the same level here, certainly a winnable round. Well done for BDS. And it was actually a team knock there over towards Terrace. FaZe had a lot of advantages in this round, but they couldn't get the round win.
Yeah, they flooded really nicely on the clear. Users hitting a nice shot there and then double down on side. And that's the key thing. He was able to get back, repositions nicely on that T breach, or that T line of sight. Lines them up. BDS applying nice pressure and had control on the other side, and he didn't have to concern himself with that. And BDS keep the good times rolling.
Yeah, they certainly do. That's a little bit of a demoralizing round for FaZe after losing Bank the way that they did. A winnable round presents early in the opening round on Skyscraper for the attack. They squander it.
That's
really nicely done though from BDS.
And that's the thing, you don't get a ton of those opportunities typically on a Skyscraper with close rounds like that.
And on a primary site, T-Room Karaoke as well to boot. So yeah, chance goes begging.
5 seconds to go.
BDS will also take some confidence from that.
Attackers are heading out to use the bomb.
So offers an exhibition now for the second round. Bandit being employed here by BDS. My Thatcher combination and with the ace as well, so you would imagine they should be able to deal with any wall denial set up by BDS. Izami has made it through as well here for Skyscraper, something to note. Of course, the most banned defensive operator at the tournament. Should also know, I guess, potentially the Ying as well, tied with the Montang, although I guess with Montang banned out here and Ying not. Second most banned attacking operator at the tournament.
So Office Exhibition round 2. Again, double hard breach Thatcher combo here for FaZe. With the two brow banned out, they shouldn't have too many concerns opening up walls outside of a potential BDS juggle on the Bandit. Didn't find success though over towards single wall. And in fact, he's stationed on the other side of the map near Geisha at the moment. So good pressure established here early on from FaZe. Souls again looking to aggress and maybe find something early. Shaiko close by though. Keeper barriers will fortify himself behind that bar.
Cheeky angle.
That's a one-way.
Yeah, Shaiko could be good for one if Souls continues to get aggressive, as he did somewhat in the opening round as well. Shaiko with a lot of work to do, but playing the Izami and has those keeper barriers and has a certainly very deadly angle out towards the balcony, and he gets aggressive, and it's a 1-for-1 down each way. BDS will probably take that. That is the hard breach off the board in the ace. Almost expended anyway. Down to 3 though for both teams. Although a quick lineup and they both fall. KDS and Handy done. Vidiking last one up. BDS continued this streak for what's going to be 9 rounds consecutively between the two maps played out. 4 versus 1. Technically 3, of course, with Shaiko on the floor, but Vidiking with so much to do. Really no space either outside here on the exterior balcony. BDS have locked down though, not giving him anything.
He's on full view of the BPC, so he won't be winning this one out. Flushing straight into the Warden as well. And it's users to clean it up for BDS. Primary side's looking good.
Yeah, FaZe just can't really get anything to work in the opening 2 rounds in terms of the late round execution, but the earlier portions have actually not been all that bad. You think back opening round, they got the kills. Second round, they actually got some decent wall entries as well, opened up, single wall, the left side over towards Office. Like, they're not playing awful. It's not awful siege here from FaZe. Certainly a lot better than I think what we saw from them on Bank, but evidently when it comes down to these late round executions, BDS are just better. They're getting on the front foot. They're swinging these angles. They're taking these fights. They look like the aggressor in this matchup. They certainly were on Bank. And to begin in the opening 2 rounds defensively on Skyscraper, that is the case. Huge round coming up though. Tertiary sites is where you've got to go to after you win those 2 primaries. And that's what BDS are going to have to do here.
I mean, take your pick at what to point out. Of course, tertiary site. I thought maybe we'd see the Glaz, but that then gets attacker repicked onto the Dockerby striker in play for KDS. You also have the Solace as well, which still has seen some game time at this event despite the nerf. Allah also in play.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Not running impacts.
This is a very pivotal round though for FaZe. I don't want to overstate it, but I also don't want to understate it right now. If you lose this round, then you've got to go back to 2 primary sites. BDS will actually then be in the driver's seat to go and find 5 defensive rounds. That might be enough. While I don't want to put the label of like must win, it's certainly a very, very crucial round now for FaZe Clan.
Well, let's see if they can cook it up. Striker with full belt of throwable utility with the frag grenades and the flashes in hand, and that could be used to flush out key positions, especially over towards Geisha, if that is to be the plan. Shock drones as well to do with some utility, and Cyber very aware of a potential jump out, could find the head, but again, it's those small moments that continue to go the way of BDS, an opportunity going begging for FaZe.
Logic bomb used by Vidiking, and you're right, there's small moments of which the small moments on Nighthaven Labs all went the way of FaZe. Certainly none on Bank, and so far here on Skyscraper, not really working out for them. They're still largely just out on the exterior for FaZe. Where's the map control? Just finding it difficult to even get inside of the building. Second Logic Bomb utilized, of which it won't really work in Soliton, playing off the mute jammer. The other 4, though, have, of course, had their locations revealed based off of the Logic Bomb, of which now has expired, and of which there are no more. Same with no more shock drones. So utility slowly being expended for FaZe, of which what have they really gained?
It's that slow brewing calculated phase at the moment, but they need to find results. They need to find a round.
Flash dump. For what though? For where? Again, more expended utility. I mean, they've got 2 drones remaining. They've got a couple of flashes remaining. And it's Shaika that gets the opening kill. Can't really say that I'm seeing a lot from FaZe right now that I like. BDS is strong defensively because they're just holding strong. They're holding their key positions. KDS into Geisha, finally something for FaZe that actually is quite successful. That's a big position to get in a round like this. But Liquefact doubles down for BDS. 2 kills for them in this round means for FaZe down to just 3.
I don't really know what they have to show for it. They likely need to go for a hatch drop and a mainstairs push, potentially. You still have Shaiko up above, a flank threat. This is going to be tough, and not made easy with Liquefact finding that kill.
Not even expecting the close angle. I mean, it's a 3-0 start for BDS. It's 10 rounds in a row. FaZe can't get anything to work right now. I wonder, do we see a tactical timeout? Is it time? 3 rounds in. A chance for BDS to go around the world. I don't see it.
Maybe Rafael hesitating after the
I mean, maybe feeling like
round.
last time on Bank, right? Oh, I've gone maybe a little bit early. This might be a case of then going a little bit too late. You're going to primary sites though, I guess, right? So it could be a case of almost somewhat forfeiting the idea of talking about things like T-Room Karaoke or Office X Edition, and then maybe calling things then going into that final round. Regardless though, BDS have just been far and away better. Ever since we exited Labs, they've been the best team inside of the server. 10 rounds in a row as well for BDS put on the board. You do have to add the caveat, the little asterisk. Of course, it is Skyscraper defense. We are aware of that. But that tertiary site being won is a little bit different to winning just the primaries.
Yeah, and again, it's the context of just the round streak that's been built over so long. It eventually gets to a point where even some of the strongest players mentally are going to begin to shut down.
And doubt yourself.
And you need to find that round, that moment to inspire the team to find that confidence to get themselves back into the game. Because at the moment on attack, they do look a little bit lost. Their decision-making isn't quite there. BDS are being allowed to play the play style that they want, the positions that they want with a lot of freedom. Their game plan isn't really being put into question.
Well, the
default
onus,
camera, guys.
Yeah,
like
default camera up. The onus is right now on FaZe to turn things around. It's the little things as well, right? Default camera. Struggling to clear out positions, utility usage, just completely awry. Whereas for BDS, they haven't really made any mistakes, right? Like, they don't have to play perfectly, but as long as they're not making mistakes, FaZe then don't have anything to capitalize upon. You're not giving then FaZe a bit of a look back into these rounds. They've been, yeah, largely clean in the rounds themselves. Again, a reminder for this round, T-Room Karaoke, bit of an extension horizontally for BDS. Solotov extending all the way over towards Office. Not too sure if he has been droned out. Sol's over towards the Geisha balcony right now on the rappel. Black Stairs controlled by Brede. So again, in terms of site control right now, well and truly established positions for BDS. All down to FaZe to try and clear out said positions. But if they haven't droned out Solotov, he becomes a bit of an X factor later in the round. Users does get the opening kill over towards Black Stairs. Currently, there is 2 stacked over there for BDS. Solotov does lose his life in a little 1v1 with Handy. That was crucial. If Handy doesn't win that, BDS would have been up 5v2, and the round likely over. Instead, though, 4v3. Handy deals with that X-Factor, deals with that Lurk Roamer. Still a lot of time to salvage this round, but BDS still, of course, in the better of the 2 positions.
Yeah, man advantage for BDS. We know, and it's proven, that users can lock down T. So this is a tough road ahead for FaZe. Ground now for Handy, so drum control at the very least. KDS has made a long rotation around now as well to offer support on Striker. And that's a nice
good
pick.
shot, Handy.
And this is a good position to now station themselves inside of Geisha. Handy has a critical role now in holding the cross.
Yeah, 2 massive kills in this round from Handy. A 1v1 on the Lurk Chrome, and then a little bit of a push in on the entry as well, close to sight. Into Geisha, they've got control of drums and Geisha. Wakefak. Brede and Users to try and hold on. 1-for-1 trades brings it to a 2v2. No advantage for either of the 2 teams now with 30 seconds remaining. Slip in towards Karaoke with the kit available. Handy has so far done just about everything for FaZe to try and win this round. Down to Brede and Users though to shut these guys down. Smoke bomb is good. Forces him off the plant. Low HP now for the 2 remaining members of FaZe and Users and Brede. Too strong again on site defensively. That's been the case and a very common factor in this series. BDS on site have been far too good for FaZe. Handy doing so much in that round, but in the end, not enough from an individual standpoint. Great from a team standpoint. Again, for FaZe, not great. And you see the little timeout called 4-0 BDS. Tactical timeout. FaZe, it's not looking good for the Brazilian team.
Yeah, I mean, rough for FaZe, testing some different ideas there in the late round, but still having to push into a formidable anchor duo. Brede, Users, holding down the line, doing some really good work. Users was in a particularly vulnerable position, yet still able to retain his life, had the cross, could deny plan, or was in a position at least to do so. Forced the clear, forced the hand of FaZe, and the execution not quite there. They're not winning these key fights, and that has been the trend now for what is encroaching on a dozen rounds in a row for BDS. And this is now crisis hour for FaZe. This tactical timeout has to reap benefits. It has to refocus the team and convert into a round, or this series is over.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to probably be this specific round going into Office and Exhibition. I think you can probably find a way on a map like Skyscraper where like a 5-1 half is manageable, but not ideal, right? It's not a situation you would like to be in. So it does still put heavy emphasis going into these next 2 rounds that for FaZe, they've got to probably find success in them. And certainly well better in that 4th round again, Brede Users. We saw it back on Labs, and then obviously on Bank, probably to a higher level. But I like to reference Labs a little bit more because that was actually a map in which BDS struggled at times, especially on their attack. But on their defense, we saw a lot of rounds like that, right? Where they actually didn't have the numbers. There was maybe only 2 on site, but those 2 players on site stood really, really tall, really, really well. And that's what got them back to a 7-5 loss. Yes, ultimately a loss, but got them into a position where maybe they could have forced an OT despite being like almost 6-1 down at one point, right? So they've been able to, I guess, build off that, then into Bank, now into Skyscraper, and again, showing really good resilience deep into these late round scenarios. 4-0 in this particular map. 7-0 in the previous map means it's 11-0 in terms of rounds for BDS.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
The groundwork for FaZe on this particular objective over towards Office and Exhibition hasn't been too shabby in terms of the hard breach department. Second layering of utility with keep barriers though, and clearing those has proven to be a problem, and Shaiko with some really nice lineups and anchor positions has proven to be a threat. So maybe the addition of Flores could aid in that. Perfect example on cue of those keeper barriers. Vidiking trying to trick the ball, but Liquefax mute jammer just making that a little bit more cumbersome.
I think he's trying to outrange it there with that second placement down, but yeah, clearly I think he's going to have to find a different avenue. Hey, he has found it. Is that going to be in range though?
No. Yeah, what is going on with FaZe at the moment? This is uncharacteristic.
They look a little bit bamboozled and shocked a little bit. Like they almost look a bit confused as to what to do in these scenarios, and that's not typically what we see from FaZe, because usually they're the team that we call like the problem solvers, the puzzle solvers, and they're not doing a good job of that right now. The piece is not quite fitting together. BDS look very confident in the way they're holding these positions. Look at Shaiko there in lounge.
And they don't have that X factor about them, a player that can, despite maybe some utility issues, can just maybe go and pluck a kill or find some space or do something.
Yeah, Handy 5-4. The rest of them, though, with 4 kills combined.
I feel like I cursed them. I said how good the hard breach game was, and at the moment, these mute gems are killing them.
Yeah, and there's under a minute left. This has been a round where the time has completely evaporated. Not a lot left. BDS have done a great job in denying these walls. Oh, beautiful trick as well from Bride. Talk about everything going the way for BDS. They are making life very difficult for FaZe here on Skyscraper. A 5th round looking very likely now, unless FaZe can just basically waltz into sight and hit all of their shots. And maybe they will do that. Vidiking with 1. Although the trade does come through quickly. Handy pushes through as well. Handy with 2. Team kill from Vidiking, but it doesn't really matter. Down to just Bride by himself behind bar. Handy then gets a 3rd. Okay, maybe they can just waltz into sight and kill everyone. FaZe finally able to stop this streak of BDS, and they get their first round on Skyscraper.
Next time you're playing ranked and someone says, oh, we need the Thatcher, we need the pocket EMPs, just tell them, no, I saw FaZe do it without it. You don't need it. You just jump inside, overwhelm,
I saw
trade
FaZe
out.
waste 2 minutes trying to open up the walls. They didn't, and then they just walked into sight and killed everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's the X factor that I was talking about, right? If you're having issues in other departments of the game, you need to be able to open up space elsewhere. They did it on that occasion. I think BDS will be a little bit disappointed they allowed that to take place. Good opener from Vidiking off the back of the hard breach that actually did land. And then it was this play in particular from Handy, right? Jumps in, deep, 2K. Despite the team kill, didn't really matter. And unfortunately, then Bride on an island.
Yeah, really nicely done from Handy, and he was the best player inside of the server back on Nighthaven Labs. He, along with all of his teammates on Bank, certainly couldn't get anything going, but he is doing everything within his powers here on Skyscraper to get them back into it. 8-4. Certainly a standout performance for him. For BDS, the streak does come to an end. 1 round to go in the half.
5 seconds to go.
Sitting pretty. Intriguingly enough, they actually don't go back to the primary side of Office and Exhibition.
Yeah, not wanting to double down in that position, probably sensing that FaZe would have brought a slightly more favorable comp in clearing out those mute jammers or any other pieces of utility such as band batteries that were also employed to deny hard breach. So Kitchen will go for the first time in this match. Based on spawn positions currently here from FaZe, anticipating a full map clear. Nomad then to cut off any retake potential from a flank. Frost in play, and so utility a long way away from the objective that FaZe need to be mindful of.
Still a 5th round for BDS would be such a hole for FaZe to climb out of. So still at a very important round. 4-2 suddenly then looks a hell of a lot better and opens up the potential for FaZe to get themselves right back into this match. Crucial round. Makeup opened up. Shaiko by himself in Geisha. Really hasn't got too many other players though around the area. Liquefax trying to just stop a little bit of this entry. Flash to go in. Air jab as well from Handy. 90 seconds left. Final round of this particular half. And Cyber with an opening kill on to Solotov. Caught running around through Dragon for Lickafak and trying to maybe just get back over towards the site, or at least above on that top floor, keeping that vertical. Handy's been slow in his approach, but getting these air jabs out and making sure that BDS are having to get back towards site. Shaiko, big kill onto Souls, though. Brings it to a 4 versus 4 as Handy slips in towards Terrace.
Still though, a lot of ground to be contested. 60 seconds on the clock. Again, to reiterate, a kitchen defense from BDS. Geisha control still yet to be forfeited by said defense, and it's Shaiko to hold down the line, keep the barriers in play, pinch to come through, but it doesn't work out. Lickafak lands the shot, and both him and Shaiko are able to escape.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Cyber. I thought maybe he was going to at least get one, then potentially trade it. A little bit of damage on the Brita and Shaiko, but they've got the advantage now for BDS. Not a lot of time remaining. KDS with the kit on the striker. Handy up above. We know how good he's been in these late round scenarios. He's probably required to do so once again.
And Lickafak going for the flank. I mean, what the hell? They've got the main advantage though, 20 seconds on the clock, and I don't think it's even going to be needed.
Yeah, uses with a kill onto KDS. Kumine gives away the position of Handy, somehow turns around, gets the kill. 2v2 with 10 seconds left. Maybe it might be needed. Not a lot of time, sure, but still a chance. Vidiking up above, has to drop, and as soon as he went to do so, BDS waiting for him on the other side. They find that 5th round, a 5-1 half for BDS, 2 rounds away from sending FaZe out of this tournament.
BDS will be very pleased with that half, but if there is any team in Rainbow Six that could bring back a 5-1 deficit on a skyscraper defense, it is FaZe, so they cannot lift the foot off the pedal.
I feel like there's a couple of teams.
Not many that have proven it at this level.
I said before as well on Bank, right? Like it was one of those maps where you probably don't anticipate a team being able to bring back a 6-0 deficit. Well, skyscraper's the opposite. 5-1. And with FaZe going on defense, yeah, it is actually very possible. Like, it is a thing that we wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. You are right, though. Of course, FaZe certainly one of those teams I think you would not be surprised for them to do it. BDS, though, well, that's the issue. The opponent. It's not like they're versing some team from APAC or LATAM or whatever.
Yeah. Don't talk badly on APAC, mate. Come on.
Oh, I'm from APAC, so I can.
True, you get the license.
It's those bloody NA and EU talents that talk too much shit. But anyway, 5-1, yeah, FaZe can certainly do it. On the defense, go to the primary sites first up, get a couple of rounds, get the confidence flowing. You know, 5-3 scoreboard looks a little bit nicer and gets the morale certainly boosted up. But if BDS come in on Tea Room Karaoke and make it 6-1, yeah, then it becomes really, really difficult. BDS also still have their timeout, something to consider, of which FaZe do not.
Okay, BDS might be cooking in this round though. Brava in play for Shaiko, Capitao as well. The latter good execute utility goes without saying, but I'm intrigued to see how these Clutch drones can impact this round from the perspective of Shaiko. No BPCs in play, but can impact the mute utility and default cameras. And said mutes may actually be a bit of a menace, depending on where those necessarily are placed around, although the first already dealt with. Exothermic over the woods. The Geisha belt from Brito. That too, I assume, muted out, or at least delayed at the moment. Not muted, so wall will be opened up. Not directly contested just yet.
Interesting lurk down below, Souls, and just as I said it, he gets 2 kills. Playing around that kitchen pantry position, I think he wanted to deny any kind of entry into that first floor, and he does do so successfully for FaZe. BDS certainly probably not aware of that. And on the Vigil, certainly wouldn't have been drawn down.
Timing.
It does make the cross, and with that, Solotov finds a kill. There's nothing KDS can do right now. He's completely just blocked out of this game, and suddenly BDS have got themselves an advantage, and a massive one at that, with so much time left in it.
You got to feel bad for KDS. The timing absolutely awful, and may well cost his team the round and forfeit match point the way of BDS.
What?
He's gotten 3 kills because of that cross.
Oh no. KDS had 1 job on the Warden, and unfortunately, as you said, the timing, it was so poor. It's a 4K from Solotov. Quad kill. Match and series point now for BDS. KDS would be fuming with himself.
Well, he doesn't even know what happened yet, right? I mean, maybe off the back of the call that there was a player deep in Geisha, he's probably panicked a little bit and be like, oh crap, that was kind of my job. What's happened here? if you had to reposition,
It's always the worst when your teammate's like, how am I dying? Hello, KDS, are you watching this? How did he get through?
Yeah, if you popped the glasses half a second earlier, he probably would have caught him. So that's rough, but a game of fine margins in a matchup so tightly contested, it's those moments that can be the difference maker. I mean, tracking back Souls 2K down below, yeah, that was big.
Yeah, he was looking to deny any kind of first floor entry, but Solitov finds a 4K. Oh, I mean, like, why is Cyber swinging that in the window? At that point, you don't really need to. So some questionable plays there from FaZe in a round in which they had a 5-on-3 advantage. They squander a huge opportunity to, kickstart their defense. Not only that, but now you give match point, 5 of which to BDS, up 6-1. And this series is looking just about over. The all-Brazilian dream is looking to not be on the cards, as BDS looking to be the sole team outside of Brazil, I should say, to, of course, advance into the Final Four, looking to maybe book a date tomorrow with Furia.
That would be one hell of a match. And it feels increasingly likely at this point in time. FaZe over the last hour and a half in this series.
It's been a shocking hour.
Have really struggled.
It's been one round.
Yeah. That's rough. Really rough.
Yeah. It's a really rough way to actually end your tournament, isn't it, when you kind of think about it? You win the opening map and then you lose 14 out of 15 rounds and then you're done. We'll see if they can get one here. Offer an exhibition for this 8th and maybe final round. Well, it's actually ended up being a bit of a speed run from BDS in these 2 maps of Bank and Skyscraper. FaZe were very disappointed with the way that their tournament has concluded if they cannot win 5 consecutive rounds.
BDS getting good value from the floor as Rotero drones and helping clear Banshees. I don't know exactly what Shaiko's been targeting, but he's been lurking down below with Clutch drones, maybe seeking default cams or just additional utility. We'll track him now up main. And actually, it's the Bandit battery on Geisha Wall, which will be alleviated. So that's good work from him. And minute 30 on the clock, groundwork from BDS, good. Time mark also very respectable. Not really too much to complain about at the moment. And FaZe will soon be sensing some pressure.
Still got a Logic Bomb, still got 2 Candelas, still got some Selmas. Rotero, Clutch drone. Oh, never mind. No Rotero with the kill from Vidiking. So 5 versus 4, just over a minute. What have FaZe got left here? They're going to have to fight tooth and nail. They can make no errors from this point onwards. Very small advantage in this round. No more Candelas, actually 4 users. Just run straight into the doorway. Gun was not up, not ready. Cyber punishing him. And finally, FaZe might just find a round in which they can be ultra successful to the point that it's almost flawless. We haven't seen this from FaZe basically since Nighthaven Labs. The pistol all but denying the flawless round, but still a round win for FaZe. They continue to stay alive in this tournament for how much longer though?
Yeah, heads above water. Good work from FaZe. The Ying not having as much of an impact there as I think BDS were entrusting in helping unlock that position in towards Terrace. It's been a struggle for both teams though. Getting groundwork down has been okay, but then taking that next step forward and unlocking these positions, or at least keeping them tradable, has certainly been a challenge as we look back. No, Souls in the round prior. He gets 2 goes at it. But here in round number 8, it was Cyber up close, and he actually swung before being flashed by that second Candela. So that was good initiation from him. Those outside on those rolls to cut off the cross, also unsuccessful. And FaZe looking mildly fired up after that round.
I mean, you have to, right? They know as well as anyone, and especially the experienced teams, that the comebacks do happen. Got to just kind of believe in that. 1 round at a time mentality. 4 rounds for FaZe defensively on a map like Skyscraper is not impossible.
10 seconds to go.
Intriguingly though, we do go over towards Barbecue here in this 9th round. Huge opportunity for BDS to close this out on one of the tertiary sites.
Are moving to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, let's see how they approach it. Shotgun looking at the player cam there, a little bit animated, making some kind of call early on into the piece. He's on the Deimos for this particular round. And we'll be looking to garner information for the rest of his team. We've even seen in this series, Shaiko double down with both a death mic and drone to try and isolate a particular roamer. Ironically, it was actually handy on screen now inside of Geisha, back on Labs, who was able to sustain that pressure and in fact sort of step up to the mark.
Yeah.
10 kills for him so far. The only player alongside users in the double digits. And so an intriguing face-off for the remainder of this map.
Yeah, but again, FaZe have got to be perfect the whole way through. That's so difficult. All it takes is one, you know, maybe fortunate / lucky round for BDS, and then it's all done. And that's somewhat kind of the way that things finished on Nighthaven Labs. You know, BDS were making that comeback, and then FaZe, they got to 6-5. They were able to just win that one last final round to close out the map. And that is certainly what could happen here as well. Now, against them. 3 targets available for the death marks there on the Deimos of Shaiko. 90 seconds remaining, so time to get a wriggle on. Deathmark has been well targeted onto the Frost of Souls. Again, still no real contact made, and BDS need to get a wriggle on in terms of gaining real advantage inside of the map, inside of the building. Really just on the exterior, still just not really gaining a whole lot of control.
Yeah, I mean, it might end up being some kind of backstairs stack from BDS. And look to avoid these vert lines of sight from the likes of Handy. Liquefact at least gets the first, and he now has this lurk factor.
Bit of information as well on a couple of players. They pinged out Handy, Souls. He was, of course, tracked earlier, losing his life to Solotov. 2 1v1s going the way of BDS. Now puts FaZe in an incredible predicament. All really on the shoulders of Handy, you would imagine, inside of Geisha. Nitrocell in his hand. He's thrown that one out. And the shots land onto KDS. Shaiko too strong with the Deimos, and it's all falling apart for FaZe, as it really has over the last hour or so. Down to Handy in a 1 versus 5. He's been great, sensational, and he does get one. 4 more required. He can't take out users, and BDS take out FaZe, sending them out of the tournament. BDS progress forward to the semi-finals tomorrow against Furia.
BDS survive, and with it, EU, the sole remaining team from Europe to wave the flag through the remainder of this bracket. And for FaZe, oh, the nightmare, I mean, it just continued. They couldn't wake up from it over the last hour or so.
2 tournaments in a row now for FaZe, where it's top 8 and bust. No top 4 appearance, where as last year, you know, you kind of think about back-to-back semi-final appearances in the majors, the grand final at 6 Invitational. Ultimately, though, 2024 hasn't been too kind to them so far.
I mean, the biggest question that I cannot wait to get an answer to now, is this another case of FaZe losing to the eventual champions of an event?